Hello, we're live. I hope. We're about to find out in a moment. I hope everybody has been having a great couple of weeks because we are back with Dark Souls 2 Dirge of Drangleic.
And what an eternal wait it has been.
Yeah, well, no,
Lord,
wrong
indeed.
campaign. We'll get back to that one eventually. What's it called? Well, yeah, we've been away for a couple of weeks, and sadly, regrettably today, Dr. Rock's player is not going to be present here, but, he was insistent that we carried on without him. So, also, I don't need to be a little bit quieter for the time being, because I need to put the gain of my mic lowered so it doesn't pick up my laptop fan going crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, salutations. Good to be back on the air.
Sure. But I guess we can start with our usual regularly scheduled session, I guess. Y'all already know how this goes. Before we start, a few shout-outs. Shout-outs to my amazing players that are present here today. And, shout-outs to all the artists whose arts I've been using for the campaign. And shout-outs to Sound Phenomenon as well for being cool with us using their music for most of the streams. Also, From Software and Larian as well. Shout-outs to them, because without From Software, this wouldn't exist. So, well, you already know how these things go. If anybody wants to do a session recap of what happened last time, they earned themselves a sweet to DM's inspiration.
I still have inspiration.
But you could give it to someone else if you do a good recap, I believe. But
That's true. Do we still have fucking like? Is there anyone who doesn't have inspiration?
I don't have
I think I
inspiration.
used mine. Yeah, I also used mine. So flip a coin or choose your favorite, I guess.
If we're gonna be having a duel, one of us having inspiration is gonna tip the scales, I feel.
That is true.
I mean, you
However,
could just do an honorable not use.
what's it called? However, Atlas is gonna give Valencia all the help she can get. But okay, so yeah, I can do the fucking recap if I try my best to fucking remember everything. I remember most things, I think.
Well, in that case, you can go ahead. Also, realize the stream, my computer has been using my laptop mic and not my regular mic, so now I'm back to using my regular mic. Alright, well, in that case, take it away.
So, to explain last session, we have to go a bit last session. Last time sometimes do this. The party had left off with Shield Bearer reckoning with his past, with a guilty party of that did something horrible to him, resurfacing, begging for forgiveness for sure, but still reopening these wounds, causing a huge friction between Shield Bearer and Shield Basher, as well as, of course, Shield Bearer and Atlas. But after Shield Bearer laid bare his tragic past, or at least parts of it that he can remember from his fragmented mind, Dr. Rock also decided that it was time to reveal his past to see if the party was still willing to have him on. The party responded with a resounding, "You're shady as hell, but we don't have any other options right now." After coming and after that, we came to a realization that more dark secrets coming to light. Less a secret, more just an evasion of the law, as Signis was revealed to the party in full after confiding in certain other party members that he was responsible for robbing the coffers of Duke Seldora, which Valencia was alerted to was freaked out about, to say the very least, coming into a great conflict within herself and trying to figure out what she should do, eventually challenging Signis to an honorable duel to decide how the party should go forward. If Valencia were to win, Signis would come with her to have a talk with the Duke. If Signis were to win, Valencia would have to relent and allow Signis to help her in his own way, which Valencia, shaken but in panic mode, agreed to, though she wasn't entirely sure what to do next. However, there was no time to continue debating further and continue infighting, because the party had agreed to help Captain Drummond investigating some strange rumblings. Might have been nothing, but just in case, the soldiers were asked to form a perimeter and go scouting. And while there seemed to be nothing at first, it was the party, unfortunately, who stumbled upon a giant. Not just any giant, but the first giant seen in Drangleic in ages. And it immediately went on the attack, proving a far more formidable far more formidable enemy than the party had ever anticipated, causing massive destruction in its way, catching Atlas out of the sky, blocking their killer move, as well as even managing to close the gap between them and Ace, our sharpshooter, with a bellowing roar. However, the party eventually felled the great beast, and now have to realize that there is much more at stake than their own personal drama, because it seems that an existential threat to Drangleic that hasn't been seen in the longest time has finally reared its head again. And that's where we left off.
Okay. Also, for some reason, reactive images decided to not work like halfway through that. It's a subsetting, but it is what it is.
Couldn't handle us being that cool.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Okay. Well, I'm gonna try to work the technical issues as always. My rig is not the greatest, so, you know, it struggles to do a lot of things. But with that being said, give me 1 second while I change something around here. Well, Joe, get yourself that sweet the inspiration, Jericho.
Valencia, go. Catch.
Okay.
She eats it.
Dang.
That is the proper reaction? Question mark. What's it called? But I guess in that case, we will go back to where we left off, as you guys lie standing above the currently defeated first giant. Well, effectively thinking...
I thought we were dragging it back to Fort Cardinal.
Well,
When we...
yeah, go ahead.
May I do a bit when we just defeat the giant?
Sure. So I will move you guys over there.
Yeah, so when we just defeat the giant, people near Gilbert could see his hand holding his shield shaking as he, in beast vocal, Sylvan, says to himself, No, now is not the time. We're safe. He's gone. They're not gonna harm us. No, they belong to us. Just let me handle this.
Valencia, understanding bestial, responds, Indeed, the beast has failed.
He's kind of, sort of doing the plugging and unplugging their ears, walking up, and looks over to Valencia and Shieldbearer because they natives. She just look like a little bit rattled for like a quick second. She's like, Shield, Scales, big guy. Why the blaze you didn't say giants could do all that? I just figured fella would throw rocks and trees at us.
I'm pretty sure from what we've heard from the guards that there hasn't been giants here for a long time.
Indeed, it's my first time seeing one.
I mean, if they can sneak up on us, then there hasn't been seen one as far as we know.
I ain't never known a giant to be particularly sneaky. Granted, he's a little bit bigger than. He looks a little bit bigger than some of the ones in my neck of the woods.
If the giants are an ancient enemy of Drangleic, as the people here have surmised, surely bringing this specimen back and presenting it to the captain will gain us better information as to dealing with them than if we merely stood around speculating.
I mean,
That is likely a good idea. However, let me just take a look at here. Signis is actually just gonna like inspect like the skin, like it just to see like because the thing was camouflage, but like he wants to see if it was like just because the skin is like the same tone as like the stone, or if there's like something about it that allowed it to camouflage better.
You can. There's actually that for an hour, so still be large. Oh, okay, sorry, my bad. Let me turn you back to the regular size. What was it called? So, you can make me a medicine check, I guess. Signis. This is technically even creature. So medicine would be appropriate, I think.
Let's see. That is a +2, so I'm gonna roll shit. That is a 9.
You've seen or heard of creatures, mostly of the bestial variety, that are that have some sort of like natural camouflage abilities, right? With the ability to have like pigmentation, I guess, of their body change. But beyond that, what exactly were you trying to figure out of this?
Signis is just trying to figure out if like it's just because the skin looks like a rock, or because it's like the skin was actually like changing to match the terrain.
You believe it is just because the skin looks like rock-like in texture and nature. You don't detect any change in its coloration once it's dead. It's just still the same sort of like gray rock, stone type of texture.
That image did not show. Okay. What's it called? Signis is just gonna be like, well, one thing's for sure, it's not any sort of active camouflage.
still, it's terrifying. Most
Indeed.
creatures don't develop camouflage unless they are either hunted by something else, or I'm not strong enough to go head on.
True, but I think I think that this may have been an evolution that it used to hunt.
Its soul is also quite big.
Well, not as big as this one. Signis like holds out like the soul of the rotten. Fucking. And then you see like it like just fades back. Back as he like stows it away.
Wait. So, what you getting at, big guy?
Who's she
Well,
talking to?
I
Gilbert.
heard rumors, but never could confirm it for myself that the let me look up names real quick. The Iron King, was it?
Ivory King, that's the one in charge
Ivory
of
King,
Lords.
yeah. The Ivory King had a large soul. Seeing that his strength is something else, and same with this thing, I presume there must be more to it, right?
There's a lot that we don't understand. I believe that we should probably make our way back to Fort Cardinal. This is very much concerning.
Could this be the soul strengthening, the Emerald
The Emerald Herald.
Harold was
about?
talking about?
Possibly.
Well, that's a neat little bit of magic if I ever saw.
But if this one was unarmed and it seemed almost as if it was trying to stay hidden, I think we can surmise that this was nothing more than a scout. We may be seeing the first spearhead of an invasion force, which means we might have to contend with more of these.
Oh no.
This is definitely a concern.
I would say Rock would probably speak up at this point and say something like, what I'm concerned with is to understand these creatures' physiology. I have never seen a creature created out of stone and yet being completely, acting completely like a biological creature.
It is
That was my
actually
best- that was
something
my
that I
best
feel like he would say.
Uh,
Just feels like something he would say.
my best impression of a German accent. I am so sorry if there's anybody from Germany.
It does feel like something he would say, though.
What's it called?
May I request
This is-
to cut off a piece of the giant? That way I can study it at a later point.
Ideally, yes, that probably would be wise.
We are already collecting a myriad of trophies back at our hamlet. I do not see a problem with severing a part of it. However, we should take this creature back to the fort as soon as possible before making any decisions about ownership or keepsakes.
Yeah, I think it would be wise to keep it whole for now, so that at least the people at Fort Cardinal can give us an idea of what's going on.
Well, that's the thing. We've only got Roland. Ain't got no wagon. Ain't got more horses.
I mean-
Cygnus points at Atlas's
Giant Atlas.
big fucking body and at Shield Bear, and he's just gonna look at Ace and say, "You are saying we have two very, very strong, very capable people."
We are
Atlas
not
is
lacking
bleeding from
in
their
strength.
fucking visor.
What do you say?
What is a joke?
I was saying like Atlas's blood is bleeding, like it's pouring from the fucking visor, but they look like they're refusing to admit that they're injured.
Signis just like sees like the blood pouring out. It's just like that is definitely concerning. Just gonna like place a hand on like Atlas's armor and is going to. How many spell slots do I? I do not have many. I'm going to cast a first level. Where the fuck is it? Why is it not working? I should be able to cast Cure Wounds.
There we go. I mean, just roll the 2d8 and add your charisma. Yeah, there's a dice roller in Roll20 for a
2d8
reason.
plus 4. That was jack shit.
What is your charisma?
It's 4.
Okay, so 7 points of health back on Atlas. Dr. Rock will shrug and, just gonna wait for you guys to get, ready to drag this thing back.
Right.
So, if you guys are... So, I'll say in between Shieldbearer, Atlas, and Roland. It's very... it's relatively easy to pull the...
There's one
giant.
thing I quickly wanna.
Go ahead, sorry.
This Drangleic soldier here, they were crushed by a rock, weren't they?
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't have a boulder on the map, but his body is
Yeah.
currently stuck underneath like a boulder.
Is there anything that Lindsay could take that belonged to them as just like a dog tag?
Like
I
dog
guess.
tags, yeah.
Yeah.
Roll me
Yeah,
roll me D100. That's 51.
51. Is that good or bad?
You see that at least a good 50% of his body is still not fully crushed underneath the boulder. So you can take, I guess, the setting equivalent to a dog tag of sorts. It's more like a silver plate that is kind of embedded on the collar of a Drangleic soldier uniform.
Yeah.
You can kind of like pluck that from whatever half of his body you're still able to see.
How
Yeah,
big is
she'll
this
do
boulder,
that
by the way?
before Going.
Okay. Also, how big was what, Signis?
How big's the boulder?
I'll say roughly like 5 by 5. I can't exactly think of a dimension off the top of my head, but it's big enough that it crushed effectively most of this soldier's body under its weight.
Signis is just gonna look at Valencia or somebody who's a little bit more stronger and say, would anybody mind pushing the boulder off, taking something back to signify, to tell all the others that he's died is one thing, but I think we should at least give him an honorable burial.
Do we have shovels or anything?
Atlas is going to y'all see Atlas beginning to stand over just shove the boulder aside and just begin to, what you can tell is starting to begin the immolation process to burn the body to just to cremate it.
Does anybody say anything? Stop him?
Hey, wait. Okay. Why are you... I see your little blasters getting ready to glow.
Article 18 of Glamoth Military Regulations. Weep not for the dead. Cremate to avoid propagation and move on.
There's no such threat here. I think we should take it because you may not weep for the dead, but he had family. They will want... What's the word? Out of character. What's the word? Closure. They will want closure.
What's it called? Atlas.
We can't just bring a mangled corpse, however. We don't have a coffin, do we?
Atlas does kind of say
Is it not acceptable in certain cultures to keep the ashes in a safe space in order to preserve them without having to stare or be reminded of the body.
Signis is gonna look
Is
at
that
Valencia and
something that exists in this land of yours, Lady Knight?
That would
Cygnus
work.
Cygnus would actually just ask Valencia, like, what are the usual traditions for burial and mourning in Drangleic?
Volty?
You would know that it depends on, I guess, the status of the individual. Or richer, higher influence families can afford like mausoleums and, crypts and the like. But rank and file individuals or commoners, they usually just go into, I guess, either cremation or cemeteries. Like the as far as like burial traditions, however, go, there's no specific tradition, I guess you could say, other than just they are buried with whatever personal effects they held dear in life.
Yeah. So Valencia will just say that, and that cremation would work just as well.
Then Cygnus steps back, and he's gonna look at Ace and say, do you happen to have a vase?
Atlas has a fucking chest as part of their fucking starting equipment. I've always like thought like in D&D, a lot of characters start with a chest. What does that fucking look like?
It's a
Like,
it's a
surely
steam
they don't,
trunk.
like-
Yeah,
It's a trunk.
It seems like a small
Ah.
like, trunk that they can just kind of carry at the bottom of their backpack.
Oh, I see. That makes sense. Yeah.
Like that's how I've always pictured it, but I don't know how everybody like, thinks about it.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I understand the visual now. Because I always
Also-
imagine like a fucking pirate chest.
Which some of them do look like that too, truth be told. But also Ace does have a clay pot from when she was
Oh.
going to make her smoke bombs. She did buy some.
Oh yeah.
I don't think.
I mean,
sorry.
a couple of them
We
did
can-
have lids. Maybe.
I think Cygnus would be like, we can give it to their the guards to return to his family, so they may put him in another vessel if they so wish. So Atlas, begin the process. I would rather not look. Cygnus just like Eka turns away, and is like, I think like you guys would be able to tell that like this is less like oh I don't care, and more so like I really do not I want to see another funeral.
What's it called? Like Atlas will just kind of stand over it, like like their cyan glow heat, like charging up, and just kind of says,
If anyone has any rights they would like to say over the cremation, now would be a good time to begin.
as they will start to, like properly cremate this person. It's not just like melting or like like just like haphazard like set fire to it. It is a proper cremation process. Like Atlas has done this before to bodies.
Okay. You begin the cremation process. Shieldbearer begins to utter a silent prayer. Ace, takes off her hat, puts it over her chest. I imagine that's a cowboy thing. A rock is, would probably stay roughly at the fringes. Maybe utter like a comment or two here of saying, I thought I had my fair share of cremations back in my homeland. Guess it's not over yet. Eventually, as you're mid cremation of the soldier, his body being consumed by fire, turning to ashes, you hear, a voice over your shoulders. A familiar voice, but not one that you expected to hear here at the moment. You hear a voice kind of go, and so, the stage of history is set once more. As you turn around, You see
Fucking Emerald Herald.
the Emerald Herald has somehow kind of just
Wait.
shown up. She
Can I? Well, wait. What? How the fuck? Cygnus has
None of
has
you
a
saw
he
her.
has a.
you know.
Cygnus actually like jumps.
Now you know how we feel sometimes, Walker.
Have you come to grant us guidance from the gaze of Fuli again, Emerald Herald?
She kind of
The
looks
hell is
over
a
at you.
foolie?
Looks
Gaze of fools, I guess.
looks at you, AR, and kind of shakes her head and says, I'm afraid the only guidance that I can grant you is what I've already told you. But now you've confirmed the warning that I have given you. The threat that approaches Drangleic is not just one from within, in the form of the curse, but one from outside. After centuries of resentment, the giants will return. And in doing so, they will bring about the downfall of Drangleic, unless something can be done of it.
What's it called? Atlas will kind of say,
These giants. I seem to recall that they came from a land beyond. Considering that Majula is on the coast, does that not leave it vulnerable?
Valid word.
She kind of stares at you. You're not sure if she was about to answer, but when Valencia says that it would, she kind of nods slowly and says, perhaps Mayula is far too small of a target for them to worry about. What is it that your
Small
instincts tell you?
targets. Small targets. Perhaps they are not ones that are selected to be destroyed, but they are all the better and easier to trample on in collateral.
Indeed, it may be wise for us to think about shoring up the defenses there. Should they decide that Fort Cardinal is too arduous of a route into Drangleic, they may very well use the shore of Majula as a landing point to start to spearhead their invasion.
Then it seems there are two paths ahead of you. One where you join forces with the Knights of Drangleic, take the news back to the capital, or should you return to Majula and prepare for what's coming?
I believe that there is a very tactical way of doing this. We can have somebody at Fort Cardinal send a messenger to Drangleic, and then we can work on Majula and also assisting in Fort Cardinal with shoring up their defenses. Unfortunately,
I believe-
due to the positioning, we may be the first line. We may be the first line of defense.
There's
I
however-
believe I
oh, sorry.
have a...
No, go ahead. Sorry, I forgot. Sorry.
I believe that I have a proposal idea for the commander that may be of the best interests of both parties.
Go ahead.
The soldiers of Fort Cardinal have potential, but they are not fully trained. Least of all in morale, and we have seen that they are, at best, ill-equipped even when on guard. If we offer to take at least a platoon back to Majula and train them up ourselves, we will benefit the security of Fort Cardinal and Drangleic, as well as fortifying Majula and having a guard stationed there, aside from our innocents that we are stewarding.
That is actually quite wise. That may be the best course of action at the moment. We may also want to think about strategies on how to deal with the giants, since they clearly have some means of hiding themselves. I think we need to create specific defenses that may slow them down before they reach the mountain ranges, where they probably blend in the best. If this giant can be used as any indication.
And until the threat of the giants arrive, what will you do? Will you lie in wait for the inevitability of their approach?
I think the
Yes.
answer lies within your wisdom, Emerald Herald. We must not stand idly by. We must get stronger by any means necessary.
You are already well on your way of doing just that, for you hold within your grasp of one of the souls of one of the strongest beings of this land.
Wait, what do you mean by that? Signis just like gestures at the first giant. You mean that?
No, I am not talking about the giant that attacked you. I am talking of the great rotting corpse that you defeated at the bottom of the well.
You mean
Wait,
this?
with all
Just like
due
pulls out the
respect.
rotten soul.
With all due respect, there was no way that that thing is one of the strongest creatures in this land. Otherwise, the power level of this planetary sphere would be severely lacking. And with individuals such as the Lady Knight and Shieldbearer, I find that hard to believe.
True, the rotten was for a shadow of its former self, a reflection of the past, an echo of a creature of great power that once walked the land, the Great Dead One, or so it was called. But as times change, so do the faces of those great souls, and their powers as well. At this point, she kind of begins to walk around like the area, pacing like back and forth. She says, "The Rotten, as you call it, was but one of the great lords of this land, or at least their reincarnations, their new embodiments. There are others, as there were before when Vendrick ascended the throne. He vanquished the previous great lords of the land and took hold of the kingdom of Drangleic. Perhaps you all are also on the same path."
So. Okay, so. Go ahead, Walker.
I think that it may be wise for us to begin moving because in this corpse back to Fort Cardinal. We can discuss the specifics while on the way, considering after we, of course, take the remains of that soldier, because we don't. If I'm correct, that potion that Atlas has consumed likely won't last quite long enough to drag this thing entirely back.
If it's an enlarging potion, you got maybe about half an hour left.
Exactly why we may want to begin moving.
Let us heed of his call then. We'll get reinforcements to Majula. And we'll inform Drangleic of that. She points up a giant.
We likely have lots of work to do. Si vis pacem parabellum.
Then, your quest starts anew, she says. And at this point, you see figures in the distance. You see as a large platoon, maybe multiple platoons, of different Drangleic soldiers arrive in this segment of the valley. You see as they are being led by the same soldier that that ran away. And they seem to be approaching, and you see as they stop like a couple of tens of feet away from you guys, as they stare in awe at the giant's corpse next to you guys. You hear the soldier at the very front kind of say, "Oh, over there, they killed it. They killed the giant," he says as he gestures at the rest of the soldiers. And you see as they all cautiously approach, hear a couple of comments of them as one of them says, "I've heard stories from my great-grandfather that these things were quite mighty indeed." And the soldier looks over and says, "They're all 6 of you took it down."
Yes, but there may be a problem.
This one looked like a scout.
From what we can surmise, yes, as its stealth capabilities, the fact that it was unarmed and unarmored means that it was trying to move quickly and stealthily. This one in here was an advance party. It's a scout, as Lady Valencia had mentioned.
But if we defeated one, we can defeat more.
As I said before, heed Article 25 of Lamott's military regulations. If an enemy seems indomitable, it is not.
The soldiers are all kind of like turn over, look over at Atlas. They all see, you're large, a giant, as it were. They stare at you, and the other guy who was leading them
This one's with us.
Kind of turns back and says, "I saw that one was not that large when he left."
It's a bit of magic. It'll wear off in about 28 minutes or so.
We should likely begin taking the body. I believe that we may want to take this to Captain Drummond.
Of course, he's back at the fort. We shall arrive there post-haste. Men, help them out. We need to move this corpse back to the fort. You hear one of the soldiers shout out to the rest, and with in between now, not just Roland, Atlas, and Shilvera, but in between everybody and the soldiers, you're able to move the corpse back with relative ease. So I'm just gonna move your view back to the the fort area. You will see that as you arrive back into town, the soldiers kind of helping drag the body of the first giant. At some point, even doing this finding some loose logs and putting them underneath the body of the giant, and kind of serve as an impromptu thread of sorts. You realize at some point where you're moving that the Emerald Girl has disappeared again. In fact, when the soldiers ask, did all 6 of you take it down? They didn't. By then, the herald was already gone. The soldiers all kind of eventually managed to help you guys drag the body back. A couple of townspeople from the outskirts of the village that were perhaps cutting wood or attending to their farms, they see this giant being dragged from the valley between the mountains nearby, and they will some of them gasp in horror, some of them stare, but overall they the reaction seems to be the same. Dread seems to be the predominant feeling in the people that fix their eyes on the body of this giant. With that being said, eventually you get to the very base of the fort, the very front of the fort. It seems Captain Drummond has been alerted ahead of time of what's happening, and he's already making his way down the main path. And the moment he does, looks at the body of the giant and looks at you guys and says, "Incredible. In all my years leading the fort, I never thought I would have gazed my eyes upon something like this."
We may very well meet a full-scale invasion, so I believe it may be in our best interests to work together to prevent any sort of harm coming to the people.
Atlas kind of says,
Like, we know not when the giants may arrive once more, but the village that we have sworn protection over is on the coast. If the giants arrive, there is a chance that village will be wiped out first in their path of war. We plan to journey to meet with your King Vendrick to send them the news, so you do not have to leave Fort Cardinal undefended. But Majulan requires protection as well. I would not ask you to do this for free, of course. I propose a deal, Commander.
You keep speaking of this village by the coast, and yet I've verified with our cartographers. No such element exists amongst the coast of Drangleic.
So Signis is going to look at Atlas and just say, "Could I borrow the map that you drew?"
they pass it over.
Signis would spread out the map on a surface or something to have Captain Drummond take a look, and he would gesture at where Majula is and says, "It used to be an old abandoned fishing hamlet or some sort. So we have only just managed to populate it. However, it is still a part of the coast." As he gestures at could you pull up the world map?
Sure.
That
I'll move
Signis
you
could
guys to the world map real quick.
Signis is
Map. Here we go.
yeah.
If you
Signis
agree to send troops, we will receive aid in protecting the good people of this hamlet. And in exchange, you will receive a proper aid in training your poorly trained soldiers.
Drummond kind of narrows his eyes at you.
What they mean to say is, since
we can better prepare them for any sort of attack.
Sir Atlas
Because
has
they
direct
because they
experience with dealing with the giants, is what they are trying to say.
Signis is just gonna a gesture at the coastline, the coastline, how he's gonna say it's likely, in all likelihood, if should they figure out that Fort Cardinal is a obstacle in the way of them getting into Drangleic, they may very well attempt a force it may attempt spearheading their force instead from Majula, which is the southern coast here. I believe that there is a way that we need to shore up the defenses there while also increasing your defenses here. They seem to be able to camouflage themselves into stone and so on. It may be wise to set up spikes in the water so that you can somewhat pierce their if should any try to enter, he might injure themselves on the way in.
Drummond kind of puts a finger in his thumb and a finger in his jaw, rather, chin, and says, "Fort is already outfitted with a number of different defenses against any form of threat coming from the water, but perhaps requesting a couple more may not be too outlandish. A couple of ballista, spikes, an interesting suggestion. However," kind of looks back at you guys and says, "if I am to heed your request and send forces all the way down to this fishing hamlet that you speak of, I will need well, more than just a single map to justify the movement of such a regiment towards a village that, as far as the rest of Drangleic is concerned, does not exist.
Problem's not the village itself. Signis is like trying to like appeal to the. It is the fact that it's an undefended point, a soft underbelly, if you will. With the others being blocked off by a mountain ranges, and very clearly Majul and Fort Cardinal being on this side of the coast, where Majula is situated, it literally is a landing point they can use to entirely ignore Fort Cardinal and storm straight towards Drangleic capital. That is what you should be worried about.
At this point, one of the other soldiers kind of like goes over, seems to kind of look back at Captain Drummond and kind of stares at him and says, "Captain, if what I've heard is true, then these people seem to understand how these giants operate at the very least. They fought one of them. If I may have permission to speak freely, sir." Drummond kind of nods, and the soldier continues and says, "I believe we should heed their warning. We probably cannot justify sending an entire regiment, but at the very least, some form of platoons, perhaps." Drummond kind of looks back at you guys and says, "Very well. I shall arrange for some troops to be deployed over there. At the very least, under the guise of a training exercise, perhaps. If not a full-on station."
By the time we are done with them, they will no longer freeze at the first sign of danger, nor will they dare to run away.
Those of you who are towards the back of the group will notice that the soldier, the one that brought all the other platoons back to the valley, the one that escaped, kind of looks like he's like clenching his fist, his fist to the wall.
Signis is going to look at Atlas and say, "Please kindly stay out of this for the moment. This requires a little bit more finesse, if you will."
They went to grab reinforcements fast. They did not run away. That much is commendable.
Atlas looked like they were about to talk back to Signis, but as soon as Valencia states that, Atlas kind of doesn't exactly back down, but takes a moment to think, basically.
So Signis is gonna look at Valencia and just nod and mouth thanks, and he's just gonna say, "Speaking of soldiers," he pulls out the urn and says, "Please, one of your soldiers was lost during the first attack of the giant. If you are all right with it, could you please return his remains to his family? Miss Valencia, if I'm correct, you took one of his effects."
Badges.
Yep. Valencia takes it out and offers it to, I guess, the soldier who ran away.
You walk over to him. He's still kind of clenching his fist in frustration, and as you walk up to him, he looks up. He had his head kind of hanging low. I imagine you present little sort of silver plaque, and he looks at it, looks back at you, kind of stops, clenching his fist, and extends his hand forward, and he says, "The next time I see one of those, I'm not going to back down again."
You have your time, don't you worry.
Signis is gonna look at him and say, "While while being courageous in the face of danger is important, understand this. The lives of the soldiers are more important than, and the lives of the soldiers are more important, and than dying in the process of ensuring victory. A battle you retreat from, a battle lost but retreated can still later be won.
Atlas looks like they're about to fucking say something.
Shut.
You see, I knew exactly what I was gonna say too. The fucking retreat is acceptable only in death.
Okay.
You see as a soldier sort of at this point has stopped kind of tensing his body, and at this point, he takes the silver plaque onto his hands and he nods, kind of looks at the plaque and looks back at the at Captain Drummond. Captain Drummond kind of gestures for you guys, to hand over like the urn as well, and he says, "We'll make sure that this is delivered back to this soldier's family in the capital. As for you all, well, I suppose I can't really say that I expected this outcome from such a mission. What was supposed to be just a patrol of sorts. But you have, I suppose, you have assisted us in far greater way than I could have imagined. It's only fair you are compensated for this. I will have my people reward you accordingly. I don't suppose we can expect
Signis.
your further collaboration in these matters, considering you've stated that your attention is drawn elsewhere."
I do not mind assisting wherever needed. I can draft up a few strategies and blueprints if so will require, or to help you defend and against attack like this. I have dealt with a manner of different beasts that have plagued my homeland. I believe that knowledge may be of use to you.
I'll say roll me a persuasion with advantage, because obviously they're more used to buy the books, so like military stuff, like receiving assistance from someone who first of all is dressed like
Doesn't
Signis.
even matter.
Okay.
That was a nat 20.
You
First nat 20 of the session, baby.
You say this of like, hey, I know a couple of tactics, when facing beasts. Maybe I can give some pointers and stuff. And Drummond kind of like eyes you up and down, Signis, and then nods and says, "I suppose at this point we can ill afford to turn away any form of assistance. Your tactics, I suppose, could come in handy." He kind of gestures at one of the soldiers and says, "Take this man to the war room, if you please, and if you would." And the soldier kind of salutes Captain Drummond, walks over to you, says, "Through here."
Understood. Speaking of, I believe you should send a herald to Drangleic capital post haste. While it may be faster for us to head to Drangleic capital, we also need to focus our attention on the matters here as well.
Drummond kind of looks at you and says, "Already on it."
Never thought ever requires help again. The DeLow family is always ready to help.
Looks at you, stares at you for a good couple of seconds, Valencia, before he says, "If I may be so bold, I heard the stories of what happened. I couldn't believe them myself. And looking at your display so far, I don't believe I ever will. As far as I'm concerned, you are still an ally of Drangleic.
Your words mean a lot to me, Captain. Thank you.
He nods and says, "Now, I suppose there's a lot of work to be done. We shall keep the creature's body here, study it if possible, learn what we can learn about them, and see if all the stories do them justice."
I would like to request something.
Looks at you.
Once you have studied the body, do you mind if we take the head as a trophy?
So I just wanted you to understand what you just asked the soldier man.
I am joking.
Okay.
Because, fun fact, that is actually a war crime to just take like souvenirs from the battlefield. That can get you court-martialed. But what's it called?
But at the same time, like we've got a trophy room to fill, man.
I mean, shit, yeah, but like he's not
Actually, think about
You can't ask that of this guy. He's a fucking cop, basically.
Yeah, no, thinking about it, Signis would not ask that question.
Don't ask the MP that, you weirdo.
Yeah, no, Signis would definitely not ask that. Thinking about it now, that's a bit out of character. My bad.
Shilbert would ask. Our doctor asked if he could study it as well.
I know I may not to be. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I thought you were done.
Could he either provide help or take a look afterwards?
Rock will follow that up by saying, "I know I may not be licensed by your kingdom in a traditional sense, but I am very good at studying any type of creatures, humanoid or otherwise. I suggest you allow me at least some access to some controlled environment where I can study this creature." And Captain Drummond will think about it. I need you to make me persuasion with advantage, shield bearer, because again, Rock is not affiliated with the Kingdom of Drangleic, so it may be a bit of a hard press to do that.
Oh god dang! Here goes nothing.
Also
Hey!
Flash of genius.
for those who
We make.
for those of you just joining us that may be confused, Dr. Rock's player is not here at the moment, so I'm taking over for the time being. So Flash of Genius is only valid if the creature fails. That 18 is not gonna fail.
Oh yeah. Okay, I didn't know if it failed or not.
I believe that is
Just
the wording on Flash of Genius, unless I'm mistaken.
It's the 2024 version where it's if it fails.
Oh, okay. Makes ability check. Oh, it makes the check. Okay. You can just add the thing. Okay.
Yeah, the new version is if you fail, you can increase it as a reaction.
Okay. So with an 18, you succeed. And Drummond, once again, gives you like a quick nod and says, "A great suggestion. If you can vouch for this doctor fellow, then we shall grant him access into our, a more controlled environment." It looks at you, Shilbearer.
Shilbert has a Stockholm face on, but in his mind, he's like, dang, am I gonna put my reputation on this?
I understand. From actually, has Shieldbearer stated that he's like a squire from Elimlois in front of the Drangleic soldiers?
I don't think he has.
No.
I don't think he has. I do think he has stated that he has a master and that he is traveling a lot.
Yeah, so it's just like a fucking wandering knight to these guys, basically.
So he looks over and says, "I understand as a wandering knight, you may probably need a great judge of character if that is the lifestyle you engage in."
Listen, there may be said many things about our doctor, but if there's one thing he's great at, it's studying creatures of all kinds and types. I think if we want to achieve the best result, he could have a great hand in that.
I have also treated plagues and diseases, says Rock.
Me in the back of my head trying to find a way to word it so that I don't take myself on this.
And Drummond will nod once again and say, in that case, Doctor, we shall provide you a space where you can analyze this creature. Rock nods, looks back at you guys and says, this will probably keep me busy for quite a while. Whatever choice you decide to do of where we go from here, please let me know ahead of time so I may pack up my equipment. And this is my excuse to get Rock out of the session for the time being until you guys decide where to go.
Cygnus is just gonna go up to Valencia and say, I hope you don't mind coming with me to the war room. We may have our differences, but I am not quite but I need to be made a little bit more aware of the structure of Drangleic's military so I can assist better.
Also,
Fine.
Go ahead, sorry.
Fine, this is an issue that is more important than a personal squabble.
And given that friggin' Ace is kind of side-eyeing Atlas, cause oh friggin' boy.
I will say, before you continue with that, you will be paid in full your money. Actually, more than that, to consider it hazard pay for killing a giant.
How
So,
much we getting?
originally, the quest reward was 500 gold pieces, but things have kind of escalated since then. So,
$2.
$2. What's it called? So things have kind of escalated since then. So now they're upping that particular reward. I will say each of you can add. Let me see. Yeah, because that was 500. Okay, each of you can add 500 gold to your inventory. Hold on, actually. No, my bad, I misspoke. 600.
Nice.
Yeah, now that we have fucking French. Okay. Signis
Let's build
is
this
going.
town.
Yeah, Signis is gonna like before the soldiers escort him to the war room, he's just gonna go up to Atlas and say, from what I remember, you are somewhat knowledgeable in forging, right?
They kind of like they do actually seem to hesitate, as if like they seem to just be like just thinking about something. Obviously you can't really tell because you can't see their face, but just kind of says
I am able to, at the very least, upkeep my own armor. It must be done so by myself because of Article 32 of Glamoth's military regulations. Surrender of Glamoth's technology is a treasonous act.
Wait, it's armor? You're not a golem?
Yeah, no, that is very much not a golem. Is you could see just points the fucking dried blood on the visor.
just blood all over the
I would say I've seen stuff, you know, but that means everyone can wear this kind of armor.
Trust me,
Surrender
I
of
do
Glamoth's
not.
technology is a treasonous
Exactly.
act.
Anyhow,
But it can be produced, right?
Surrender of
Do not-
technology is a treasonous act. One can only atone by scorching the earth so that none of Lamoth's proprietary technology remains.
anyway,
That's very much not something that I do not believe they're gonna budge on.
anyhow,
I
you
do
need,
believe that's a no.
you said you needed some help forging Walker.
I yes,
and pulling out a hammer from their bag.
Yeah, Signis is gonna look at Ace and say, "I have something else in mind for you to help me with that also requires your fine handling skills. I am bringing this up with Atlas for one specific reason. He's used to the battle. He's used to the tides of war, and therefore, I feel like I can trust him to create the blades for a weapon."
Just cause. Cause
Do you know what vanadium steel is?
anything close to adamantine, mithril. I've worked with stronger stuff, Mizium. Interesting little bit of material.
Indeed,
Bert has
but
mentioned something about different forms of steel. I have no idea what it is, though.
I would like as many people working on this project as possible to get it done in post haste, which is why I'm allocating different work to different members. If that's all right with you.
Look, I'm no stranger to making arms and armor for folks, and look, just because I can. End of the day, I've been a blacksmith most of my life, and well, give me a certain task, I can fulfill it. Ain't just
Signis is gonna pull out the blueprints that he made, and he's gonna point at like these really fine pieces on that, and he says, "Atlas cannot make this. You can." Like these are like mechanical bearings and shit. These are pieces that are meant to make the entire weapon work. And he's looking at Ace and he says, "You, I feel would be more suited for I would not say delicate work, but precision. From Atlas, all I need is a blade. From you, I need this."
If you wish to engage in such work, would Fern be allowed to accompany you as an apprentice?
I don't see.
Who are you talking to?
Just all of you.
I
You're
don't see
talking
the
about
harm.
blacksmithing.
I don't see the harm in more helping hands we got, faster the job will go, and also I can look. All right, I'll help make the finer. I'll help in working the finer details as well, but it ain't. But if it's to work, at least if most of us are working on similar materials, it's gonna be different if different hands are working on different pieces, if dimensions ain't proper.
Indeed, that's why you are working on. The mechanisms, while Atlas is working on the blade. The tang just goes into here. He just points at how the entire thing slots together. And honestly, I think just due to the way that the weapon is laid out, the blade is probably the hardest thing to fuck up, basically. So it's like, yeah, no. I trust Ace with like making everything else that needs to be super precise, but the blade does not need to be. So that having like one other person work on it is perfectly fine.
Atlas is
now
gonna
that-
say, "Oh yeah, go on."
Now that you kind of explained that more to Ace, it's somewhat. It's still this sort of you friggin' mocking a blacksmith's pride of like, I can't make no friggin' blade, but you just was shafting me with the gear mechanism pieces. Like, I'll probably make a persuasion check for Ace. Because he's a little bit
Signis?
miffed.
Signis is not like trying to like undermine her skills or anything. He's like very clearly just trying to spread the workload in a way that makes the most sense.
I say with a 17, Ace would relent like, alright. Shouldn't take us too long. So what, you want these mass produced or just for you personally?
This is for a personal effect. I doubt anybody here could feasibly use this.
Well, I was gonna say if you were trying to mass produce this, it'd take probably like like a month or two. We should get this done maybe around question because of my friggin' artifice shenaniganry, is this a magic item or nay?
Oh, this is still a mundane item. This is just like a fucking mechanical.
What's the cost of this? Because
that I'll have to ask Vorti.
What are you?
Vorti,
that
how much
depends.
does the Rakuyo cost?
I mean, I assume if your intention is to make a trick weapon, well, first of all, you would need the work environment to do this, because I imagine, that's why the specialized hunters workshops existed. But also, you are effectively putting two weapons, together into a single weapon. So I imagine the cost is equal to the cost of both of those weapons combined. Plus maybe like a little extra to take into account the complex mechanism that would require to be like the switch of sorts. So how much does a... did we establish what the weapons mechanically are like separated?
I talked to you about this, but I don't think we like decided on anything. I remember it's basically just a saber using a full tank katana blade in it rather than a saber blade and like a dagger on the other end, just like a really fucking long dagger.
I remember I originally said it was a cutlass and a scimitar. What's it called? That's what was my idea, was mechanically speaking, like a cutlass. Obviously, we're taking like the Valdas, cutlass. Obviously you made the argument of it's a katana or it's like a dagger or stuff like that. But I think keeping it as a like a cutlass, scimitar of sorts. I think that works mechanically speaking for the separation. I think if it's together, it effectively has the statistics of a dual-bladed scimitar. What's it called? Which is an item from regular D&D. Let me verify in like a separate tab like what the cost of all of this would be. Because I would need to take into account I'll say like the statistics of the weapon, of the two separate weapons and the weapon that they become. But for the meantime, I'll
say X amount of days.
Yeah, guesstimating, I'm gonna say it's probably going to run you like above the 100, mark. I think.
That's all right.
We should get this done in maybe 3 days or so. because I'm going off of artificer shenaniganry plus crafting rules.
Hold on, I'm just grabbing stuff from the thing. So, okay, so I did some quick math. From what I'm reading, this will be 155 gold pieces worth of materials that you would need.
Okay,
that's
so it
perfectly
is 3 days, because that's how much Ace's other project is going to be, and she was gonna ask Fern for that one as well. Okay. So give us like 2.5 days. Should be all right.
That's greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Cygnus is just gonna like up. How much would it be for the parts? Cygnus is like, yeah, Cygnus is just gonna like be willing to pay for the material.
Given with all the intricate parts, not to mention the blades, blade print. Make sure it's well balanced. I'd say it's about 155 gold.
Indeed. Cygnus is just gonna like the award that the reward he just got, just like fucking in like very like carefully counts it out and then just like hands it to Ace, like the amount for the materials to like Ace, and then looks at Atlas and says, and looks at Atlas and just hands Atlas like I think he's drafted up like the blueprints, and he's gonna hand like the ones that he wants Ace to make to Ace, and the ones that he wants Atlas to make to Atlas. So like Atlas would like look and just see like, what the fuck is this? Just like the fucking like folded over the like, you know, the Japanese like a technique where they like wrap like a hard steel and soft steel. It's just like, wait, how the hell do you know this?
What's it called? Well, you wouldn't even be able to hand the blueprint over to Atlas because they seem to be kind of like in an altercation with Valencia right now, basically.
Just to clarify a couple of things before we, get to that. What's it called? Drummond would have told you guys that, hey, if we can expect your collaboration, you're free to hang around the fort for as long as you need to. You know, and also, he didn't leave immediately. He would have pulled the soldiers that came with you guys to the side and effectively given them like a speech on the background. You know, of effectively somewhere along the lines of soldiers, we're facing off against a potential threat that has not been seen.
Rage.
Not quite, but he's telling
We are
them,
about to embark upon a great crusade today.
also not quite. It's more
Tonight
like
we are canceling the apocalypse.
all right, y'all. Not quite any of those. It was more so along the lines of letting them know that this is a foe that has not been seen in ages. That likely, almost everybody, with the exception of King Vendrick himself, remembers even how they fought. This is going to be a difficult time of preparation, of dread, of worry, and, well, of waiting, effectively. Waiting for the inevitable approach of their army. Likely from the seas, but they cannot discount any possibility. And effectively, he kind of caps up the speech by saying, from this point on and until we are sure that the threat has passed, nobody in this fort is allowed to perform less than 100% efficiency. Effectively has all the soldiers mobilizing across the fort, drills, patrols, setting up defenses, anything that is necessary to, prepare for the approach of the giants. And yes, he did already tell you that he's already working on sending a missive over to the capital.
Mm.
But yeah,
Okay.
continue with what's going on here with Valencian AR, I guess, as Signis
Yeah.
goes over to Atlas to handle the blueprints.
Well, yeah, like, Valencia starts saying, like, with all due respect, we are taking Dennis to the fort. Atlas is going to, like, kind of like, their head pivots over to her and says,
I thought that we were in agreement that he would be taken back to Majula in order to put him to work. After all, he is much more valuable to us in our position, is he not?
Whilst I certainly do agree with that, and I understand your interest in them and their expertise, you told me to be consistent. I can't be
Cygnus is
making
just-
exceptions.
Cygnus is gonna walk over, is like probably hearing this and gonna say, "You haven't made a decision yet. The duel hasn't happened." And
I've made my decision. The duel is said decision.
With all due respect, Lady Knight, there is much information to be extracted from this Armorer Dennis. There is being able to take them with me and squeeze out as much information as possible from them is paramount to achieving all of our goals.
Cygnus is going to also just say, sometimes we do not have the luxury of staying consistent. We are about to be engaged in war. I don't know if you understand what can happen. Armorer Dennis is as more use in our position in Majula, since we are lacking in manpower. We may have gotten the assistance of Fort Cardinal, but their priority is their own fort, not Majula. We need all hands we can get at. Do you understand? This
Have
doesn't.
you
This is
forgotten your
more than
own
just.
words? First you criticized me for being inconsistent. And now this?
There are times when one must put
Silence,
all
Phantom
personal things
Thief.
behind.
The Lady Knight has spoken. She is right to point out the hypocrisy in this situation. If the commander has made her decision, and it is indeed a lawful one that I cannot truly back down from or refute, then, despite my misgivings, I only ask for a day to interrogate him. If I cannot get what I need from him, then that is that. I will still carry out your orders.
I will allow for a day.
Just understandable.
Lance,
Now,
may I ask, what will you do if it turns out that the memories we've forgotten be of that of crime?
Wait, sorry, could you repeat that out of character?
What would you do if the memories that we've forgotten are those of us doing crime?
Well, that's a bridge that will be crossed when we get to it.
Cygnus is gonna look at Shield Bear and just like hold up a hand just to say like maybe now is not the best time.
Now is the time.
Soldiers are looking.
He's
this
not
way.
actually saying that. He's not actually saying
Okay.
he's saying it. He's
Well, yeah,
just like
but Shield-
holding
I
up
mean,
his
Shield-
hand.
Shieldbearer could still say that. Like, Shieldbearer
Yeah.
can tell what Signis is fucking trying to say to him.
Yeah, Shieldbearer is like, now is the time. And otherwise we move out of the fort and we start talking about it now. Because you all still seem to think that Valencia here is our leader, while she's still as wishy-washy as he is. Just because he made 1 or 2 decisions does not mean that he's decided. You want to stand your foot down, and I applaud you for that. But you're still not setting it down.
What do you want me to do then?
Honestly, give up your role. I do not see you as one worthy of leading a team where you want to shoot half of it.
Give up?
This is not your team to lead. You know more than most do. According to your own rules, the only one exempted from your standing your foot down is yourself. The rest is either unsure, or you should start, as he says, a bit more quieter in Beastfolk, capture them now.
I uphold the Drangleic law, even if I sometimes believe it to be unjust. And I most certainly do.
And yet you've proven otherwise time and time again.
How so?
You are not upholding the law by saying one day. You are not upholding the law by possibly we are going to do something about this if I prove to be a winner. That's not upholding the law. That's flipping a freaking coin. AR said to me once, and a leader should stand down, lead their people, know where they want to lead. I want to try to take that to me. Start leading more of my own. And from everything AR told me, from everything I've seen in my life, you are unfit to lead this team.
Then you're free to leave.
Or what? You're gonna capture Signis, you're gonna capture Rock, you're gonna capture Ace, you're gonna capture AR, you're gonna capture possibly me.
She would not be able to capture me.
That's my point. She is incapable of doing the actions she claims. She's trying to stand tall while not even having pillars to support her. The only reason you follow her is because you think she has so-called authority here. Which, no, she has not more authority than me.
She does not have any pillars to stand her authority upon. Because a leader is nothing without the people that choose to follow their lead.
And that's true, but according to her own rules, she should stop you for things you've done. I can name a few already. And we've been a week together? She should stop Signis for multiple reasons. She should stop Rock for multiple reasons. Should I go on?
Silence, you squire.
Or what? You're not even a threat. You couldn't even beat this tin can and we were equal.
We were certainly not equal. I would have beaten you if I had been given enough
Silence!
time. I
Is
do
that
not
not
believe that you have
consult-
the authority.
And you wanted to follow, then stay quiet and follow.
I wish to follow a commander who has potential.
And
I truthfully do not believe that any of us currently have the capacity to properly command or set rules. Not a single one of us. And that, of course, includes me. I will admit, Valencia Draco Delil is the person that I believe has the capacity to lead us to victory. But it is, of course, clear that she requires guidance, patience, and time to come into her own. Leaders are not born. Soldiers are born. Fighters are manufactured. But leaders have to be cultivated.
And I
But
certainly...
that cultivation cannot come without the flames of war.
And I certainly believe Valencia can one day lead one team to victory. I just do not think that she has what it takes to lead us. For she cannot even make one true decision on her own, without going back on the words that she herself said, time and time again.
And you are not a person anyone would ever wish to lead.
If that's what you want to believe, that's fine.
No wonder your master got rid of you.
Signis is going to...
At least I have a home to get back to.
He's casting that in the
So
air.
do I.
Are you actually casting Shatter, Signis?
Signis is just like trying to like basically like he's not actually like targeting any like enemy or anything. He's just trying to make like the loud noise to like cut through the tension. And he says,
You know, it breaks
"Silence!"
objects as well.
Well, he's
Yeah, I
already
know,
here.
but he's
a
basically-
point of your choice within range. Yeah. So you well, a couple of things. Well, actually, no. Finish what you were saying, Signis. Sorry.
Silence! And us arguing over this, it doesn't help us at all. Leader leader or not, we are dealing with the cusp of what could be very well an all-out war. We have worked together before. It is clear enough that we have the means to function as a cohesive group. Fighting does not help.
That's the one who offered the duel.
As you cast Shatter, Valencia just instinctively just like snaps her head towards you and just hisses.
As you cast Shatter, you also see a bunch of different soldiers drop of what they're doing, turn around, and a couple of them adopt like a stance of like, oh, are we being attacked? Like, you know, you see as a couple, some of them on like the ramparts of the fort, actually, begin to kind of like turn. Well, they're not really like jumpy or trigger finger or something like that, but you see as one of them put like place their hands on the ballista. Around. They don't turn them to aiming towards you, but they do kind of like all like snap to attention, like look around.
So Signis is just gonna say, my bad. I just needed to break through the tension at ease.
You say at ease there. You're not their fucking commander. Like they're gonna look at you, and one of
Like,
them,
who you saying to these two, Wolfo?
one of the soldiers looks over, shouts down from the ramparts at you guys, and says, "Hey, I don't know what is it that you think you're trying to do here, but whatever it is that you're trying to do, take it outside. Right now we're at a crisis."
Yeah, let's try not and piss off our the folks who just gave us a bit of a payday, and maybe continue conversations elsewhere.
I will like to say that Signis's shatter is not just like a fucking big crack of thunder or anything. It is literally just like a fucking. It is like a weird fucking noise that you would not be able to identify.
Then
It is very loud though.
Okay, so you just if you give a vague description like that, the only thing I can think of is just that it sounds like the turtle doing like the weird sound.
Yeah, no. The closest thing is like it just sounds like a fucking like screech. Like it is the most like it is the
so
most
you made it
like
worse actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is worse.
Does it just sound like the cleric beast screech?
Yeah, sort of. Like it's always been like this since I've been using it. It's always been like this since he's been using it. It's just a very fucking loud, like eldritch screech.
Okay. Well, I mean, the reaction of the guards is still understandable. They will look. Some of them adopt like a stance. A couple of them instinctively like knock an arrow into their bow. But like they are telling you, hey, whatever the fuck you're doing, knock it the fuck off or get the fuck out the fort.
This is not a time to be fighting. We have other things to worry about. We have worked together before. We have very clearly proven that we have the means to work together. Us arguing about who is leader, or who of us is the leader, in the end, and only splits us up more. We do not have the luxury of being divided right now. So understand when why I interrupted.
That's exactly why. I cannot stand on the battlefield protecting you from the front if I need to worry that I get stabbed in the back. But you know what? I do have other things to attend to. You're right. I will go walk. Maybe meet at a later date. As he walks off, you would say in Beast Folk to himself, but probably because he's furious, he says it out loud. Damn lizard thinks that he can do what he wants.
Valencia, also in Beast Folk, will respond in kind.
What does she? What does she say?
What does she say?
Good question. I don't know right now. Sorry.
Imagine if it's just like fuck you in this one.
Just fuck you.
Signis just like you could just see Signis is like pinching the bridge of his nose and just like in unit spats it's almost inevitable at this point.
What is you required of me, Signis?
I'm heading to the war room. I need your assistance there, if that is all right.
Let's go then.
Atlas is just gonna start returning to the fucking inn so they can interrogate Dennis, basically.
Actually, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because it's now just Atlas and Ace. Ace is
Not the best combination.
Ace. Ace is gonna have some choice words, but she wants to take Atlas's side because out of respect for folks, and also don't want to piss off the guards even further.
Okay.
Friggin'
Shilbear is walking to the inn as well to see if Dennis and the old man are still there.
he's still alive.
I'm out of here. Goodbye. They can walk the same direction.
Okay.
So
To be fair, Signis and Valencia. Valencia is the person Shield Bear was having beef with. Signis is just taking her away towards the war room.
Okay.
okay. So I guess the party split once again in two. I say through gritted teeth.
Hey, sorry, we've got inner character
Conflict.
So obviously Valencia and Signis, you guys are going to the war room, and Shilber, AR, and Ace are going back to the inn. So go back down the hill from Fort Cardinal to the town. Okay, in that case, well, who would y'all prefer I cut to first?
I think Signis and Valencia's. I think Signis and Valencia would make it first, so do them first.
Well, for you two, it's not gonna be super complicated. Just to quickly describe the place that you're currently walking in. You walk into what appears to be a low ceiling room, kind of wide in all sides, with various different shelves and bookcases and the like, with a large square-shaped table of sorts. There is what seems to be a map of the surrounding region of Drangleic, not of the whole continent, but basically of Fort Cardinal and most of the surrounding area. There's a second map next to it that is a little bit larger and it's actually overlapping with it. That seems to be more of a regular map of Drangleic. The room itself is kind of dimly lit with a large chandelier hanging from the ceiling that illuminates the map underneath the table. Well, on the table, right? And there is around 3 other individuals in this room, including Captain Drummond. The 2 others, they are dressed not exactly like soldiers, but almost like officers of sorts, like slightly higher ranking than the, a couple more like management brass, so to speak, of the Drangleic army. You see that at the moment you enter, a 4th individual is just about exiting the room. This kind of very meek-looking individual with a like a case filled with all sorts of different items you can't exactly identify. Seems to exit out of the room after a quick excuse me, as he moves outside. You see as the you are first of all allowed inside by one of the soldiers, because you're not just allowed to walk too freely through the fort, but with relative freedom. You're ushered inside one of the soldiers as they stand at attention, saluting Captain Drummond, and eventually they let you in. Drummond looks back at you guys, and you see that he's already kind of undergone some degree of planning on his end. There is what seems to be a number of this different sort of like markers placed around the map on the table. Seemingly already kind of figuring out which positions to start, improving defenses or setting up this, suggested spike barriers, as it were, that you have mentioned before.
Signis is going to look at the map. Do there this probably has some elevation to it, right?
There is these little bumps that you can notice every once in a couple spread out throughout the map, basically. Maybe there's an object underneath the the map that is kind of elevating it.
But there does seem to be an effort to, at the very least, partially, semi-accurately represent the difference in elevations across the segments of the land.
Yeah. Signis is going to at first he's gonna scratch his chin and as he looks at the map and he says, he's still got he has a mask on, not the mask that identifies him as Signis, but he has a mask on, and he points at the map and says, so I believe you should believe you should physically reinforce any spot where they would be able to access with ease. However, I think it may be wise to create a choke point so that you may set up your archers on either side to fire down on them. If you reinforce everything, well, then they have no choice but to simply try and pierce their way through. And once that happens, well, you've got your own. Once that happens, they are very easy it's very easy for them to get behind your lines.
Drummond, hears all of this. He doesn't immediately comment on what you suggested, but he looks at you and says, "If it's all the same to you, sir, I would prefer if you would, be rid of the mask. You are in a secure environment at the moment, and I would rather see your face."
Signis just sort of nods and he takes off the mask and shoves it back into his coat. He is still in his alternative disguise, which Jericho has drawn, but I don't think it's done yet.
You have not sent me.
It's not done yet.
Yeah, I don't think I've received any art for that yet. So, I guess at this point, Drummond will, he kind of begins to have one of the other officers begin to add more of these sort of map markers, in the area. He will say, "We've already began our efforts to reinforce our current defenses. We've moved and mobilized a couple of ballistae to be aimed at specific points around the fort and its surroundings. Some of my officers here have suggested a particularly unorthodox tactic, but well, we'll have to verify with the capital if it's even possible." He looks over at you, Valencia, and says, "And what is it that you can suggest for us, Lady Valencia? I would he begins to speak, and for a moment you believe he's saying this sarcastically, but he is saying it completely 100% serious. As he says, after all, I'd be remiss to dismiss the advice of a dragon rider."
I believe you are already covering the defenses. What are the evacuation plans looking like?
Of course.
If the giants arrive, the town below and the surrounding villages are going to be defenseless, I imagine.
Of course. It'll take us some time to compile what potential battle tactics the giants have, but I do not believe it's outside the realm of speculation that they could do siege tactics. As you have explained to us, it seems they are very adept at throwing boulders. But we cannot just expect that to be the limit of their abilities. We are fully expecting some form of other projectiles to be able to breach the walls, if not go over them. And if that is to happen, we've already designated some routes of evacuation for the citizens. They will be moved further north towards the capital, and with any luck, they will arrive with a large platoon of soldiers as well.
Good. My other suggestion would be a forward team of observers with a mobile force. I doubt all the way out here we would have access to dragon riders, but cavalry, anything of such, would be of incredible help considering the vast territory we're trying to defend.
The other officer in the room kind of speaks up and says,
In the missive that we're going to be sending to the capital, we will make sure to list down any possible of reinforcements that we may require. The Dragon Rider's efforts may just be what we need in order to withstand this onslaught.
Signis is going to just like nod at like both Valencia and Captain Drummond's suggestions and say, "We've seen that they can throw rocks, but they can also fire some sort of beam." Signis is saying this because he got hit by said beam.
It's not a beam, because I don't believe the concept of a beam would be like particularly known to you. But it felt like a thunderous boom of sorts that was fired from.
They could fire something from their faces. Some sort of, it felt like some sort of magical effect, I think. What may be required is not walls that can deflect it, but absorb the shock from boulders and whatever it is. It is rather than have barricades that would have arrows, OOs, and rocks and such glance off of them. Something cheaper or made out of wood that will simply absorb the impact might be more useful in our case.
The officer in the room with Drummond will, one of the officers in the room with Drummond will note and say, "I shall arrange for, some form of construction work to be done in that case. Perhaps we can get some pulleys and the like to be able to lower some wooden formations around the walls." Drummond nods, and he looks over and says, "I will not lie. I'm not entirely sure how many measures we should be taking, but as many as we can afford, we shall be able to do, I suppose." And
yes.
Well, is there something that I have to ask to both of you? He looks at both of you and says, "Is there something, anything at all, anything in particular that stood out during your fight against that giant that you believe is pertinent for this?"
Are you trying to hint at us for something?
Well, he's asking in character. Is there something you noticed about them?
Valencia will mention the fact that it could camouflage against the mountains.
You have already kind of made note of that. He's basically just asking, is there anything you can think of? If not, that's fine. Obviously, it's not me like trying to be like sneaky and like saying, I remember the thing, yo. This is just me asking if your characters would note something.
Signis would bring up the fact that yes, it may be wise. It's probably not possible, but if you grab sand or some sort of powder, you might be able to keep that around, and if possible, soften the earth around an area where a battle may take place. Because while they can camouflage themselves, we notice that due to their weight, they still leave footprints. They're capable of stealth, but they aren't fully. But they're not fully capable of concealing their tracks.
Then increasing patrols is a priority in that case. The other officer that has been kind of relatively silent throughout all of this will say, "We also had one idea that is a bit out of the orthodox, but perhaps with any luck it could serve us well. We are thinking of requisitioning a couple of, a large batch of a particular material that was recovered during the conflicts with Alken. As far as I believe, I think they called this type of substance smoke powder. Or was it dark powder? I do not remember.
Gunpowder?
Sadly. What is a gun?
Cygnus pulls it out, pulls his gun out. This is a gun.
The planetary
It's funny
Atlas
because
sneezes.
it's funny because the three people who know about Legons are not all in the same place. The person.
They look at you like you pulled out like, you know, some form of like weird like. I don't even know how to describe the reaction. They're just looking at you and they don't know what is it that you just pulled out. They just see a weird like contraption.
Do you mind if I
Valencia
demonstrate?
like tilts her head, and it's just like, "Are you from Alken?"
No.
Also,
Slash derogatory.
also Nathan, I just hope you remember our pre-campaign discussion about technology and firearms in Dark Souls.
Yeah, no. Cygnus is just gonna like say, it's like it's in all likelihood, it's likely too advanced to mass produce. So, or even use at this point. So it's quite, he's just gonna like shove it back into his like belt, and he's just gonna say, it's quite, I'm very sure that you are not going to be able to use this or even figure out how it works. What may be useful may be making explosives of some sort, and well, being prepared to lob them at the enemy in some way, shape, or form. Since you have access, this might be even more effective than just pelting them with arrows.
The officer that was talking kind of continues and says, "Well, yes, that's precisely the plan here. I was suggesting to the captain we should request a batch of plenty of these barrels of dark powder, and well, with any luck, we may be able to weaponize them into something we can use to defend ourselves."
If I am maybe so bold, do you mind if do you have any samples of this I can take a look at?
I believe none are currently in the fort, which is why we are requisitioning them from, well, if possible, the capital. If not, we may need to turn our attention elsewhere.
Seems so. Well, such is war. This is exhausting.
I will say, unless any of you, like either you, Signis, or Valencia, have anything else they want to bring up or suggest for the defenses of Drangleic.
Signis.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, Signis is just gonna like suggest that they like a few ways they could like get the information to the fort as quickly as possible, like, you know, setting braziers and such, so that they can like, you know, oh, now all of China knows you're here,
well,
or shit, you know.
They say that they have the ability to do that, but that's more so reserved. But when the attack is, when an attack is already happening, rather than a he's saying like use that for when it like you like make sure like your soldiers are on point. Have somebody manning each brazier at every single time. There's no such thing as the brazier the brazier doesn't light. You have to make sure everybody knows, because or else we're all fucked. Yeah, no, they also have a system
but
like
yeah,
that
I think
in
that,
place, but they usually
yeah, I
for
think
when the attack is actually already happening.
Yeah, so I think we can swap to the other point of view, because I think at this point it's just gonna be like fucking tactical jargon and mumble jumble.
Like Signis is getting too technical. Valencia's kind of like zoning out.
She's just here for the vibes then.
Yeah, like Valencia's like, oh, like you've been like, what's it called? Out of character, Katya, you were like, oh yeah, Signis is Valencia's spy master. Yes, the fuck he is.
Valencia's a knight. She's not a commander. She doesn't know military tactics.
Okay.
She pretends she does.
In that case, we will cut to the other crew, and if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry about taking so long on the fucking jargon.
Oh no,
okay.
it's fine.
Um,
It gave me some time to kind of compartmentalize myself and also, uh, well, mentally prepare for
I will be
this
back.
discussion.
all right.
Okay.
So I guess I'll ask, like, would any discussion happen on the way to the inn, or already when you guys are at the inn?
I don't know if someone goes up to Shieldbear because he's just ahead. And he's
Well-
angry, so he's fast walking.
Well, here's the thing: you went faster, and also Ace got choice woods that. Well, now we're a little bit away from the fort. Well, nah, cause like, here's the thing. She gotta make sure to clear the air. Also, she recognizes a friggin' hub. This is time for her buddy to have their talks with each other. So, not the time to go up to them just yet, cause things already popped off. So, Ace is gonna talk with Atlas to clear the air, but also, what Atlas would see, well, because Atlas hasn't been around Ace that much. The only other time you've seen her like this was when they were in the friggin' hole, and Vic and Gully pissed her the frig off, and she was spouting in Primordial. You see, like, smoke start billowing. Okay, Tin Man.
Is there
What do
something
you-
that you require?
Well, yes, we need to talk. Or should I go? Or should I address you by your rank, Lieutenant Colonel Lightningbug? Okay.
We all have important tasks to be carrying out. Do you not have yours?
I do, but if Walker wants us working together, we need to clear the air. We need to clear the air, and I ain't want to say this with Val and them, because things are already getting heated up as it is, and out of respect for everybody, I want to make sure. I want to get this thing situated. Wait, we've been palling around together for the past week, and things ain't been adding up. Y'all been scrapping, and folks running ragged, thundering off like a goddamn basilisk with a beak ache. Wait, when? Firstly, outside of a couple instances, you've all been blast first, ask questions of whoever is left later. Or secondly, your whole been ticked off like a tumble, like storming off like y'all want to get yourself killed. Now, despite you saying no, not revealing your tech level planetary spears handicapping yourself when you were comfortable with getting ready to blast the blazes off some of them little guys that was back in that little old cavern and whatnot. And another thing, that little, you say you're old lieutenant colonel of some elite squad. That got me thinking. Colonels don't be concerning themselves with a handful of guys. They deal with like whole battalions and companies of grunts. It's at the very least. And I may not be a rank and file toy soldier, but I do know a thing or two about little command structures, despite what you think. Ain't some 2-bit cattle rustler from the sticks. I'm a mercenary and gun for hire and my gang had some structure. Sure. Old top officer. Folks at the top, like Boss Leela, Obeka, Stelly, Pack. You consider them general or top officers. We still we got things done and more efficiently. And we can act independent of each other, still get jobs done. Also with little rank structures, I gotta know the difference between regular deputy he's in town and Sterling Company. The officer agents. Now, I don't know who you trying to impress. Part of me's thinking your old Lieutenant Colonel bed is nothing but bunk.
Atlas just kind of like, staring down at you, just kind of, there's like a bit of silence and says,
if you had done away with the similes, your spiel would have been around 46% shorter and more succinct.
Well, if you don't want no similes, here's this. I don't care if you pinched it off. If you ran away or pinched that old suit of armor off somebody or whoever. I could care less who you trying to prove, because clear you got a death wish, but
Atlas
what most
kind
humans don't.
Atlas just quickly, very immediately goes up to you and just kind of grabs your collar and says,
call me a deserter one more time.
They kind of stare at you for a bit and just kind of let go as they kind of step back a bit, almost stumble back actually. Atlas, despite being a gigantic hunk of fucking metal, has been very graceful so far, but this is the first time you've seen them kind of stumble, they were taken aback by their own reaction.
Also, one thing that I would need to point out for context of this particular scene, how many hours did we roll to see Atlas was in that form for?
It was only an hour. It was
an hour, so they shrank back by the time we got back.
Yeah, so Atlas has shrunk back since. Okay, never mind. I just wanted to see if there was more than that. So never mind. Carry on.
But yeah, go on.
Look, whatever you had going on from whatever plane you came from, ain't no concern of mine. But you saw from her earlier, folks are getting with all that bluster about not revealing yourself, and folks getting wise that you ain't some golem or clockwork like folks are catching wise that you might of what you are. I've been cordial enough to let you keep your secrets to yourself.
It's
Nah.
called. Atlas is going to say,
I can clearly see that this will continue to be an issue until you get the answers that you want. So if I tell you exactly the reasons as to why I have been acting in the way that you noticed, will you shut up?
Okay, say that again. My audio kicked out a little bit. It's like I only heard "Will you shut up?" at the
basically, like if I tell you, why I've been acting the way you've been saying, the inconsistent way I've been acting. If I tell you why, will you shut up?
Fine.
Then listen closely, because I will not be repeating myself.
That's mostly what you've been doing for the past 8 days, repeating that old glam article such and such. But go on.
The Glamoth Iron Cavalry is manufactured. Its armies manufactured through the genetic modification and cloning of humans, created from Her Majesty Titania, the Queen of Glamoth. We are not enlisted, we are made for war. Live to fight, fight to live. Enhanced reflexes, enhanced strength, agility, durability. And a telepathic bond that links units together. Orders need not be uttered. It is a common understanding between Firefly units. I need not remember the Glamoth military regulations. I am always surrounded by it. Or I was. Until I ended up here. Article 8 of Glamoth military regulations. Surviving knights must immediately return to their units. But I cannot. I do not have the ferocity and the bravery of the Type 4s, nor the discipline of the Type 5s. And I do not have the keen memory, nor the true integrity that is demanded of me. I am not the perfect unit. I never was. Much like the giant that we fought, I was a scout, a Type 6. My rank, that you point out, lays there only because I filled the void after night fell, while I stood, somehow unable to burn myself away the way Her Majesty deserved. Article 11. Displaying emotions that could compromise mission objectives is prohibited. Knights must remain composed under all circumstances. Article 17. Modifications to the strategic assault mech are strictly prohibited. Only use attachments that can be removed safely at a later date.
They kind of say as they kind of like sort of make a show to like, you've already seen them use like their little gadgets and stuff, but and you kind of figured, it was part of the armor, but they kind of like display them and, in a way that like tells you, as an artificer that like, no, these were added by Atlas. And they kind of continue.
Article 35. Souvenirs and keepsakes from the battlefield are strictly prohibited. Article 82. Taking leisure time to learn skills is unnecessary. These are some of the many articles that I have broken. I have caused trouble breaching protocol whenever missions demanded I be separated, but I could always be kept in line by my unit. Every second, I will be reminded of my oath to Her Majesty, because I would not have to repeat them. They would all be echoed in my head. We were a well-oiled machine, even when parts broke to be replaced. We never argued, never fought, never were clueless about what the next step was, because we all existed within each other's minds. There was no miscommunication, which was good, because I am not good at communication. But not now. Now, I am without the echoes of the regulations in my mind, without my unit, without command. You and the Phantom Thief worship chaos and elation. The Doctor only knows that of medical law and not of war. Shieldbearer is a squire, dead set in his own ways. The Lady Knight is not a perfect commander, but she is the only one I see willing to respect the regulations that I hold dear. Unfortunately, I am not a golem. Unfortunately, I was made human. Do those answer your questions?
You see the smoke that was billowing from Ace's haired eyes start dissipating halfway through your explanation, and instead looks more like steam. For someone who is for a elemental creature that Atlas probably hasn't seen, probably has never seen before, but looks physiologically humanoid shaped, you would get the impression that Ace is friggin' tearing up and crying almost. And she just gives you a hug out of nowhere, like you're... What? Who? Shit. Please, who broke you? Like, you're a person. Like, you're not... Like... You... Like, people... Like, people ain't supposed to be... getting a whole bunch of nonsense. Like, you... So your whole life, that's all you knew, and like you, and that's no, like, y'all say a bunch about having an indomitable human spirit. That's what I like about y'all humans, cause me, Jinmore, I got maybe a century. I can live me and my folks, we could live like maybe a century or two, but y'all have shorter, y'all live lives to the fullest, like maybe not knowing when your days are numbered, or dang the odds. And but you're more than just a soldier getting ordered around like some old clockwork. You like fish, you like chickens, collecting neat rocks, draftsmanship. Like, You're on your own person, ain't? So what if you were made to look like somebody else, and if they can't respect you as your own person, well, pardon me for saying this, but I don't think that queen of yours is a very kind person. Is a very kind person. Listen to you. Cause like, when I see y'all fighting caution to win, now, granted, you barely have any wherewithal to make sure to save your own skin, but that's the kind of passion I've seen, and that's why I was running with my old gang, and why I palled around with y'all. But that whole collective of them drilling rules, regulations, and keeping you from what makes you human into a human. Like, don't ever say that you were unfortunately made human. Unfortunately made human, because no matter what, you don't be ashamed of. You can't be ashamed of being alive.
With all due respect, I list all of these articles all the time. However, I do not believe I have ever had the need to spout Article 1 of Glamoth military regulations. Knights should feel honored to be born. And I do. Please do not make a mistake here. I fight to live, but I live to fight. You are correct in that I should be more than a soldier. I should be a weapon, a plasma arrow tearing through the night sky.
Would
held
you
by the
shut
bow
up?
of my queen.
You ain't no weapon neither. You are a person.
Tell me, if I were to be able to persist after the Great War, what would there be for me to do?
Yeah. Please, there's tons of stuff. You can, I don't know. You could find you somewhere nice, mate. Have your own farm with all the cows, hogs, chickens you want. Go see the world. See stuff. You've been out in wild space. You've seen. You can go see planes and planets you've never been to. You spend your days with someone y'all care about. You can hang up the old gun. Heck, some folks they hang up their guns, and in your case, probably hang up the old armor. Maybe do something you like. Find something you love, someone you love, or what have you.
These are the freedoms that I fight to preserve for other people. Because people ought. I believe we are in agreement that people ought to be able to live the many years of their lives the way that they wish to. However, there are forces in this world that seek to destroy it. And my unit and I have uniquely been given the ability to blot out that evil. There is an obligation with such great power. And besides, even if that evil were to be fully vanquished, I would not have much to live afterwards anyways.
What in blazes are you talking about?
A defect of the cloning process. It is not death per se, but there's another reason, other than protecting Lamotte's proprietary technology, that you never see me outside of this coffin. I and all the other Firefly units have a severely shortened lifespan. To put it in the easiest terms for you, as long as I stay fighting, as long as I burn away in this armor of mine, I will stay until the fight is over. But as long as I stay outside of this armor, I perhaps have 10 or 15 more years to live, while not under the life support of the strategic assault mech.
Be somewhat like trying to keep her own composure, but hearing that is kind of like trying to hold back the tears, but she can't. Like you see her trying to put on a brave face, like a little smile, like you're. Hey, it was half right. Thinking you might be at first thinking you might be an Aetherborn, but even then, you at least know when your ticker's going out. Most humans don't, and they still do foolhardy stuff that find odds. Like,
you seem to claim that humans have infinite possibility to make their own choices and dictate the way that their lives are to be lived. And yet you seem to reject the idea that a human, no matter how artificial, could choose law.
well, there's one thing following rules, and there's another thing having rules drilled in the folks.
The Glamoth military regulations are not simply a set of rules that are created to punish those who defy them. They are the way that I choose to live my life, the way that I see the world. Do not think for a second that I am held hostage by these oaths. Do not think for a second that I feel free, not hearing the sound of my units echoing in my brain. I feel empty without them, and I wish that they would return. But for the time being, while I am on this planetary sphere, I will not be able to. the best that I can hope for are ones that will show respect to my rules. Not for them, but for my own peace of mind.
Look, Atlas, for what it's worth, I'd figured you for old cantankerous for his piece of work, but well, may not always agree on things, but maybe I could try to help you get your way back. Get your way back home. May not be a planeswalker, but I do know my way through a few different magic and such. And considering your constant diving head first in the battle, and well, you saw how that turned out with the last giant. I don't think that little trick of yours is gonna work all the time. And if you're gonna be
I have been
speaking
working on an uppercut.
Well, offer still stay. Well, I can at least help you out in some regards. Now it ain't permanent. I ain't gonna do nothing permanent to augment your suit. Some of my kit is mostly some of the things up my sleeve are temporary at most. Permanent stuff takes a bit longer and uses up more materials. And plus I won't be you don't have to act all prude. I won't be looking your way. I won't be looking your way if you're gonna go change while I fix up your gear. Cause your patchwork job, as much as you did, frankly, it's a bit lackluster. And I wouldn't want this this old cough of yours, and Ace kind of gives it a tink. Getting all scuffed up.
What's it called? Atlas will just kind of say,
I will make sure to hold you to that, because Article 60 of Lamott's military regulations dictate that inspection of the physical Firefly Knight's body and genetic tissue is strictly prohibited.
Save that for Doc. Old physicals and whatnot. I'll just be concerned with the outside. For all I know, you're just in your bloomers in that tin can of yours. And frankly, you ain't my type.
what's it called? Like, they kind of like look at you. You're not entirely sure if they understood what type meant. But they kind of like say,
I worry that my technology is far beyond your comprehension. However, I do believe that it may be beneficial to the mission for now.
Not out of my comprehension. Albeit it's a little albeit it's a little bit different from how some things I've worked on, but I've worked on a few. I've actually worked on something similar to it. Now, granted, most of my specialties is arms and armor, a few magic items, but it's about a step in the right direction for what I'm used to.
What's it called? You, you know, while you've been hugging Atlas, you kind of like feel like a hand, like, you know, place itself on your back, and you feel like, you know, they're reciprocating the hug in their own way. Except then they grab your collar and just like push, like, you know, pick you up and just like place you off.
Also, Article 34 of Lamott's military regulations. Unauthorized personnel are prohibited from inspecting or repairing the strategic assault mech.
Also, rule number one, if we're going off of rules, with Ace probably picked up by Atlas. Alright, rule number one, which you already broke, and lucky enough, Walker actually was kind enough to bring him back. You don't be touching Lady Luck or getting your grubbing mitts on Lady Luck and double down without my permission. Rule number two, don't be calling. There ain't no goddamn manhandling me out of nowhere. Put me down.
I believe you were the one to do it first, but very well.
They put you down. They are 8 feet tall, and you are like, like fucking. How tall? Like 5'1".
5'8" with her boots and hat, but
yeah. So there is just like a thump, basically, because they were holding you like a fucking cat. And they kind of like, you know, like turn towards the inn, and just kind of say,
And I hope that you remember the deal that we made at the start of this. You will not utter a word of any of this to the rest of the team. I do not wish for it to compromise their judgment, sympathy, while an appreciated and human emotion that must be protected compromises the mission. If any of them learn of my condition, I fear they will try to stop me from doing what is necessary when it comes to a real fight.
Hells, I've kept you. Hells, what you think I've been doing the past couple of days while we've been in town? I'm saying you were a goddamn golem. If anything, I respect. Like I said, I'm respectful enough to let y'all keep your secrets. I never breathed the word that you were human. The only folks who knew were me and Doc, because we were the folks who were around you at the time.
what's it called?
Signis did actually know. That Atlas was human, just because what's it called? He saw.
Well, Ace doesn't know that, so she just figures, oh, Signis found out once we were in the fight with the giant.
Well, yeah, like Atlas just kind of like, they don't nod or anything, but like, you know, they just kind of like turn back to the inn and says,
I do believe that we have wasted enough time. There are only so many hours in the day, and I am running out of time for my interrogation.
Yeah, you want to interrogate old Dennis before we haul him off to see if he has anything anything pertinent before hauling him off to guards? Also, what do you need? What do you need from him anyway?
Alkin seems to be a resource-lush environment. I desire to figure out what materials this planetary sphere has access to, and if I can acquire them. I need units of copper, ceramic, gold, iron, graphite, and quartz. I am not sure if aluminum or silicon exists in this pre-industrial realm, but I do know how to make it on my own.
You try to make a phonograph or a radio or something?
A rudimentary one, yes. I do not know if I will even be able to reach them, but I need to somehow project a signal. Do not forget that I still have my suspicions that the swarm is here, and if it is here, we will need all the help that we can get.
Also, you got a picture of what them swarm things look like? Cause we are not going to have this whole song and dance of you try to fight every giant bug that we see.
You want to know something? Signis did draw like a surprisingly accurate one based on the description that what's it called? Was provided by Atlas. He drew it a while back.
Atlas is very bad. Like, Atlas is very good with like maps and like, you know, like copying and like intelligence-based drawing, but when it comes to like actually like drawing like animals, they're very bad at it. However, they will try. It will not look good.
So you do this little doodle. You show Ace. Ace looks at the picture, looks at you, looks at the picture. You drew a what incarnation is this? You drew you drew a dang perfect scale map of the area from that old bit of stone back in that mansion. And you're drawing little doodle bugs? My little sister can do better than this.
From what I remember, Signis actually handed the drawn image to Atlas.
I don't actually like remember this interaction.
No, this was a while back. Atlas was like, hey, started like describing it, and then Signis like drew something that was like close but not exact. And he rolled really high on the cartographers, and then he handed it to you. I think it was like back before we beat the Rotten.
I would need to go back to the vaults and check. Also, yeah, I knew you were supposed to know fucking be the king, Drew.
Like, this is nice for like a little kid, but you got like a photograph of these or something?
I am still working on bringing those functions of my suit back online. For now, this depiction will have to do.
Well, your depiction sucks. It looks like any little stick figure a kid would draw if you told them draw a big old bug.
Normally, I do not have this issue because the presence of roughly cow or horse-sized beetle-like creatures is not prevalent on most planetary spheres. However, this one seems to somehow, for some reason, be the exception.
I've seen bugs about the size of a horse and a little bit bigger.
We did see that big fucking ant.
we did see that fucking. I mean, that's what Alice is fucking like referring to. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this place? Like, Atlas will just kind of like say like,
we are incredibly far out from the center of the galaxy.
Also,
Go ahead.
I want to get some info from Dennis too, but before that, give me a bit. Gotta see him. Gotta see on the big guy. Oh. Don't start without me, and don't go strangling them or burning them or what have you.
Okay. I will, before we move on to Shilber here, what's it called? I will ask Valencia and Signis roughly how much time would you say you would have dedicated to, doing the thing that you were doing?
Probably like an hour or two.
Okay.
Yeah, an hour would probably be enough.
All right. I'll say you would probably, in that case, assuming you go back to the inn after that, you will arrive roughly around the same time where after Ace is done checking in on Silver. And that being said, though, we cut back to you, Shilber. What would you have been doing as you have arrived at the inn? Because you would have been the first one here, because Atlas and Ace hang back a little bit during their conversation. And, Valencia and Signis were still busy, presumably at the fort, doing their talk with Captain Drummond and the other officers. What would you have been up to?
It would start with checking in on Vern, which we left with Dennis and the old man.
Okay. Well, as luck would have it, technically speaking, only like a handful of hours have passed in between you leaving and you returning. Not actually.
Been a hell of a day.
Yeah, it's been a hell of a start of a day. It's not even been like a day in and of itself.
we set out at fucking dawn. Like, bro, it's like 10 a.m. now.
Yeah, immediately after we returned from another mission. Like, god dang.
Exactly. So as luck would have
Adventurers.
it, not that many hours have passed between you leaving and you returning. So you would come back to the inn and realize that Fern, Cersei, and Gwenald, they're all roughly... you would only see Gwenald and Fern in the lower floor of the inn. Presumably Cersei still on the upper floor. And if you were to approach and, or they would see you, like, walk in, you hear Gwenald speak up and say, "Oh, Mr. Shilber, we're still keeping a good eye on those two people. Cersei's currently still looking at them. We're kind of alternating in shifts and stuff. Had to sleep in shifts, so make sure they weren't gonna try anything funny."
More choices. How have they been behaving?
Fern speaks up at this point and says, "So far, calm. Maybe a bit too calm. I believe that, the old man has not really actually spoken a word since his capture, whereas the one known as Dennis seems to be quite a talkative kind. He has been trying to get a couple of responses out of us three, but, we've kept our lips shut for the most part. Lady Valencia did not order us to engage in conversations with him, so we have tried to keep that to a minimum."
It is the smart move. What has he been saying?
Gwenald looks over and says, it's kind of just been a repeat of the same from last night,
just kind of saying, "Hey, so are we going to partner up or what?" He's he seems to be kind of a bit jumpy at the moment. Looking forward, I guess, to whatever response you end up having. Speaking of which, I've noticed a distinct lack of the rest of the people, of the rest of the of Lady Valencia's, assistants. Where are they at the moment?
When he said that,
Remember,
There's like smoke billowing out of his ears.
remember, as far as she's been told by Valencia, she is the one calling the shots here.
I know. Scourgeborn would say, we're not her assistants. At the moment, we're traveling together.
Fern looks over and says, I believe it's been made quite clear that she is the leader of this particular impromptu troop. Is that not the case, Sir Shieldbearer? He's gonna shift.
What?
Oh boy.
Oh,
Some say for
God.
Shield Basher. What's he gonna say to talk shiz? Talk your shiz, man. Talk your shiz.
Well, no, he
God.
just seems angrier and angrier without really going off on them because they have nothing to do with it. They should not be scorned because they were misinformed in his head. But he is angry, so he's like, she has not been officially stated as a leader. The moment we expected her to be the most qualified. But we'll have to see.
Has Lady Valencia not proven herself already? Fern asks.
No.
Well, that was to the point, says Gwenel.
No, full stop, capital letter.
Yes.
Gwenel says, well, okay.
He is trying to keep it down because they are in the tower.
Well, okay,
God.
let's not get too hasty, says Gwenold. He says,
This is...
she's trying her hardest, I think we can all agree that she is. Let's just, she's been through a lot, you have to understand that, Mr. Shieldbearer.
He is a bit shocked of himself as he tries his best to compose himself. Nope.
My fucking god.
Oh, he's pissed.
Right.
As he's like, haven't we all? That should not excuse one. I've tried to see the best of her. I've tried to help her. And yet the things she wants to do to us. This does not concern you so far. Nothing will happen to any of you. But please know that we're all trying our best.
At this point,
Yet she seems to fail to see that in us.
At this point, Fern stands up from where he was sitting. Not really like a defiant way, very calmly, just kind of standing up. Looks over at you and says, Mr. Shieldbearer, as Lady Valencia's squire, if there has been any form of insult hurled either between the two of you, I believe it is very much my concern to know about this.
Things have been said I'm not proud of. And I wish to one day speak calmly with her about these things. But she seems to never want to hear my side. I try my best to understand her situation. But I cannot accept some of the things she's willing to do to people she calls or she's leading.
Fern kinda tilts his head a little bit to the side and says, "It doesn't sound like you're trying to deceive us. Is what you're saying true? But no, that does not sound at all like Lady Valencia. In all our time of service, she has been quite benevolent towards all of us."
And I believe she truly has. Sadly, I cannot say the same.
At this point, you hear footsteps coming from one of the stairs that leads to the upper floor of the inn, and you see Cersei, has kind of begun to descend the stairs. She does a very polite bow at you, Shieldbearer, as she passes by you, and says, "Mr. Shieldbearer," and Kenneth then turns a look at Fern and Gwenault and says, "I believe one of you is up next." And Gwenault kind of looks over and says, "Oh, please, me. I don't think I don't think I'm built for this discussion." As he gets up and begins to walk upstairs, and he goes up and disappears upstairs. Cersei kind of looks in between you and Fern Shieldbearer and kind of raises an eyebrow and says, "Is there something to matter? Is there a reason why you have returned sooner than the rest, Mr. Shieldbearer?"
Your lady and Mr. Walker have decided to stay back to talk about the things that are unfolding.
You were
And
go ahead, sir.
where Ace or Miss Ace or AR, I don't know.
I overheard the townspeople speaking in hushed tones about something. Has something transpired that we need to be made aware of?
Do you wish to hear it from me?
He kind of stares at you when you say that, and says, "Is this dire of great importance? Is Lady Valencia in danger?" She says with a very urgent tone.
Yes, it's possibly dire. The giants are back.
You say that, and they both kind of stare at you. You can't discern Fern's expression too much because he's always wearing the mask, but you can tell in his tone of voice, he goes, This is not a jesting matter, Mr. Shieldbearer."
Do I look like I'm jesting? I have so far always been truthful to all of you.
Cersei bites her lip a little bit, not because she was about to say something against you, but rather out of frustration.
Yeah.
And she says, You have been quite honest, I will admit. If what you say is true, then this is horrible. But also, if Lady Valencia can strike back against this horrible threat, then no doubt she will be welcome back again in the capital, she says in you can tell she's trying to kind of spin the situation into something positive, but her expression kind of betrays her emotions, and she looks like she is very much worried.
Shilpa would go up to Cersei, lay a hand on his shoulder. He takes a few more breaths as he even tries to mumble a certain phrase to himself to calm him down a bit more. As he says, "We stood together, and we defeated one of them. I have no doubt that if we are able to work together, we will be able to protect you all and everyone on our team."
She, for a second, looks at your hand, at your arm. She wasn't really expecting you to reach out and put a hand on your shoulder. You can tell she's slightly taken aback by that, because you haven't really done that type of gesture, to them specifically. She's kind of taken aback for a moment, stares at you, and says, Of course you will all be able to protect us. After all, you have been selected as allies of Our Lady. She would never make any mistake of judge of character like that." Another wisdom save.
Shieldbear's just getting more and more pissed as this goes on. He's just like, "Oh my god, I just want to punch this woman."
No, she's not a fault.
Because Shieldbear would blame them. That's why he's been able to react the way he has. A knight needs to be able to hold his composure. Sorry. The only thing, Shuba would say it really softly, so I don't know if any of them have a high passive perception. But he will be like, "Yeah, no, sure she haven't."
I don't believe they would pick up on the sarcasm, because they're kind of focused more on the matter at hand. But I believe roughly at this point is when Ace would be walking in. Ace and Atlas maybe would probably be walking into the inn. Cersei will look over at you, a shield bearer, right before they're walking in, and says, "Once she returns, we'll be able to devise a course of action, I'm sure, if you haven't already. In the meantime, we have to maintain our post to watch over the prisoners," she says in a hushed tone so that the other people in the inn don't listen. She looks to the left, looks to the right, looks back at you, and says, "What are we going to do with them in any case? Has that been discussed at all?"
What's it called? Atlas. Hold on. Atlas is going to kind of go up to Cersei, and just kind of do it. Actually just genuinely bow and say,
"The Lady Knight has given me authority to interrogate the subject, after which we will be..."
They kind of lean in kind of closer, to just kind of whisper in her ear, just kind of
"Submitting him to the authorities, but do not make him aware of this yet."
Cersei nods. And Fern also nods and says, a wise course of action, I suppose. You can tell he says that, but there's like a little bit of an underlying like tone of like he wanted to say something else, but he just isn't.
Atlas is not gonna notice that, but they are gonna like yeah. Atlas is gonna go ahead and like just kind of go upstairs to relieve Gwenald of his duty for a bit, but
He just got there.
we can't. Yeah, he just got there. Yeah, we can tackle that a bit later.
Okay.
Schubert would say to Cersei and Fern, I do appreciate the work you both put into. And Fern, if you're ever interested in hearing my side after everything, I will be truthful to you.
As you have proven to be, Mr. Shieldbearer. Also, you were gonna say something, Ace?
Yes. So before talking with Fern, Ace is going to check up on her buddy. Like she knows, like, yeah, no. Asking how you feeling is not the thing, because she already knows. She'll pull Shieldbearer to the side, to like maybe like a side table, like a little, either the side table or to their room. Which actually, yeah, their room is probably best, because. But if you two had a chance to talk things over amongst yourselves.
Yes, we talked with one another. But spell it out. What do you want to know?
Like, I want to know that you two are alright, because, of course, with old lady lizard lips, like, I can, like, I can somewhat respect that she's trying to figure things out. Leader material or not, like, I hate to see you leave, and we the whole talk of like old curses, now giants, and coming who knows when. Like I said, like, not everybody you ride with, you always agree with. Now, there's good people. There's good people back there in the village, and folks up near capital that they'll be needing our help as much as the old knights and whatnot. And I got your back. No question about that. Also, yeah, Val's is a bit of a greenhorn when it comes to the whole leading folks that ain't other knights that she ain't used to. Like, in the end, what matters is we make sure we got each other's back. Now, I can't say this for them, but yeah, but trying to figure out her own consistency. I don't know. It's folks who at least try to do the right thing. It's somewhat better than some old blowhardy who leads you, who tries going off into disaster, and nobody, and not everybody, and as much as she puts on airs, I think she's scared. I think she's scared. Who wouldn't be? You got a couple outlaws, a feller from outer space, a feller from the star, a feller from wild space, a squire from another country, and a beast folk doctor, and we're going to find ways to deal with some curse and now giants that folks ain't seen for who knows how long. Now, she'd be lost without us, and as much as she doesn't want to admit it, she could use all the help she can get, and unfortunately, she's allotted with us, and I know y'all have your misgivings. Trust me, I have mine with her too. I'm not saying you should get all buddy and start being friends, cause that ain't feasible. Or to just do that at the drop of a hat for you. Like, sometimes it takes different parts to make a whole machine work.
Listen, running away I won't do. I always run towards my problems, if you haven't noticed. But
that's why I gave you that shield.
I can protect us from whoever needs be. But I can't protect you from the front while being scared that one of our own members might start hunting you down.
You let me worry about.
What would you do if he comes for you or me?
Well,
I am not. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I am not scared of Valencia. That's why I knew I could handle that talk. Even Shieldbasher knew I could handle it. The problem is, I can't do it while fighting others. I can't do it alone.
Well, that's why you got us. And also, answer your question. She thinks about trying to put you or me in the old Huskow. If one of your memories is like some criminal, or if she figures, well, I don't know, but if old Bertram Greywater or one of his lackeys ended up here with me and figured she'd turn me in, I never broke myself out of jail. I have broke folks out of jail, and won't be my first time run from the law and outwitting them. I think wasting spells and shots on her is pointless. Ain't got most of my kit from back home. So some of those ideas are out of the question. But in anything, we might have to stick together and, well, if and when she comes to her senses, and, well, we'll have to soldier on. But now, granted, I don't think, but granted, we'll be sure to get things through. All right?
But we don't know for how long we can protect you. I cannot get it out of my head. Neither of us can. You know what's the biggest trouble about not remembering your past?
What's that?
Not being able to see a future. I don't know whether I'm 80 or 15 years old. I don't know whether tomorrow is the last day I pick up this shield. We decided that we wanted to protect people as long as we can. We just never expected we needed to protect them from our own.
Well, you know what else? I figure, not knowing what your past is, you got yourself a clean slate, as it were. You can go ahead.
You don't know if someone is hunting us right now. You don't know what we've done. Neither do we. We don't know if we have a clean slate.
Well, that may be true, but also, if you're willing to protect folks, and you don't know when it's going to be your last time picking up that shield, them shields of yours, well, treat every day as it would be your last. Don't go to bed angry or sad, and take life how it comes. That's how most folks get by. And honestly, if people came hunting you down right about now, well, they got a nice little blast of thunder as Ace kind of. I'll roll a sleight of hand to see how well she can.
How quick-witted you are, you know.
Yeah. 19.
You know, what are you trying to do exactly here? You're just trying to do like a quick flourish of your Thunderslinger?
Yeah, so essentially not firing anything, more so just seeing how fast she can pull her pistol from her holster and then do a little spin back into it. Yeah, roll a spin.
Okay, yeah, I'll say 19 is good enough. Not even, it's more than good enough. You quickly do like a flourish with your Thunderslinger.
Now, I don't think that's quicker than somebody can cast a. That's a little bit quicker than someone can cast a spell. Granted, it ain't one of those psychic folks who don't need to say a magic word, but that's different. But that's something different That's something different. But you don't need to worry about me. Like, I've gotten by this long. I've gotten by this long, and now got two more buddies having my back. Kind of do like a soft jab on Shield Bearer's arm. makes things a little easier. And you let me worry about Win fighting, because that's just nothing but nonsense anyways.
What is your passive perception?
What is my passive perception? It is a 10.
I think you would hear, maybe not completely understand, but hear something along the lines of, I wish a broken soul could grow, but I've yet to see it.
That's rough, buddy.
Dang.
I mean,
That line did not need to go that hard.
Dang.
I will
like-
say also pretty fucking legit ass line. Well, like I couldn't help but picture like shield bearer, like sitting
That's
down
rough,
in the
bud.
rain, head held down.
And then Ace saying, "Oh, that's rough, buddy." But no, she wouldn't say that. She wouldn't say that. Like she doesn't know the whole deal with souls here, so she's not too sure what shield bearer means, but well, things that can be broken, they can still be mended. If not, they're you can find beauty in imperfections.
He just smirks and says, "Didn't you also want to ask something of Dennis?"
Oh yeah, I need to. Let's hope Atlas ain't strangling him yet. And she just runs like.
It is about at this point where Signis and Valencia would also walk into the inn.
I think like the expression on Signis's face is like more reminiscent of like what he looks like when he's like taken on the Jeremiah personality, where he's just like a lot more stoic. He's just like, it's been so long since I had to think about strategy like that.
Valencia, meanwhile, looks into like the window of a tavern, just like a glance, sees Fern there, and she just like takes a deep breath, like slaps her cheeks a bit to like hype herself up before entering. And as she does, she just like announces to everyone, "Rejoice, everyone! Tonight we shall be dining with give me a moment. Tonight we shall be dining with giant slayers."
You say
Signis like face palms.
You say that, and a few people that are in like the main floor of the inn do kind of turn around, and you see a bit of a mixed reaction. Some people are like, "Hell yeah, we're safe, we're the shit." While others are like, "Oh fuck, that's right, giants are coming." and there's a bit of a mixed reaction, but you do feel like some people are a little bit more on the positive side, it seems.
Signis is just like, I need fentanyl.
As Ace is
me.
going,
Yeah.
as Ace is going to friggin' try and figure out which room Dennis is, Ace hears that and then looks down at Valencia and says, "Look, we agreed, I guess. Look, we agreed it was 60-40. I get the fame and glory. I get the fame and glory perk scales. Scales we shook on it and everything. So I get to be the one who does the whole announce and bit."
Fine.
Well, too
Signis
late.
orders a drink.
It's too late now. You already did it. Ain't got that. Ain't as impactful now.
Signis is just gonna order a drink.
Don't worry.
You'd see the barkeep that's currently here on the main floor will say, "The word's spreading pretty quick. I heard about what happened. This first round is on the house."
Signis just like drops a coin. Ignis drops like a coin on the table. "Don't even bother with the glass. Just get me a bottle of liquor."
Shrugs. Just gonna pull something from behind the bar counter.
It, I guess the setting equivalent to moonshine, probably.
Yeah, Signis just grabs it and fucks off. He just goes back up to his room. God.
Ace kind of looks over to Fern and Cersei. Where's our guest?
Upstairs, says Fern. Currently Gwenald should be on watch duty, but Sir Atlas did went upstairs with quite haste.
Oh snap! Ace just runs to whatever door Fern points at, and then just casually opens the door like.
In that case, well, I guess before we probably cut to AR and Gwenald, we're having a pretty deep discussion. Would Valencia and Shieldbearer do anything upon, Valencia walking in?
I imagine there's a streak of lightning as they, look at each other. But Valencia is...
Not Shieldbearer is just ignoring you at the moment.
Yeah, Valencia will walk past Shieldbearer, go to Fern, and start talking about how she's gonna have giants slaying put into the training regime.
Outstanding work, Lady Valencia, says Fern. And then Cersei says, truth be told, I was quite worried when we were informed by Sir Atlas about the giants. By Mr. Shieldbearer about the giants. But, well, I should not have worried at all, it seems. You are quite well, aren't you? She kind of stands up, begins to look you all over, trying to make sure that, you're not hurt. Notices a handful of wounds that hadn't properly, closed. And says, by the gods, you are hurt.
It was a giant after all.
Fern kind of staring at you for a moment, Valencia. Not saying anything for a couple of seconds. You kind of catch him, staring at you without saying anything. Do you say anything in return?
She will just ask, something the matter, Fern?
He shakes his head rapidly, and says, apologies, Lady Valencia, I just have a lot on my mind, considering the news.
Well, wanna talk about it?
He thinks you see his eyes kind of well, not his eyes, but his head tilts a little bit to the side. In fact, if you believe he's looking at something or someone for a couple of seconds, but then turns back to you and says, perhaps it's better we focus on the matter at hand, I think. A course of action about what is going to happen with their prisoners.
Atlas will take care of the prisoners. You don't need to worry about that.
Right, he knows. And
I'm here to make sure you're prepared for the giants when they come around.
Of course. I suppose this means we shall redouble our efforts in training then. I'm looking forward to that. And as he says that, cutting very quickly back to Atlas before we wrap up. Atlas, you say what you said. I never thought about friends and necessity. It was never really relevant, but maybe. Gwenald kind of crosses his arms, nods along, and says, well, something to think about, I guess. After all, you guys are gonna be, working with Valencia for quite a while, right? So, might as well, get to know each other and stuff.
What's it called? Atlas kind of seems, okay, so, I'm not entirely sure how, to describe this. Atlas just kind of, stays silent for, a little bit, and kind of just says,
Again, the terms of friendship still elude me. Yes, I am often interacting with the Lady Knight because I wish to see her grow into the warrior and the commander that I know that she is able to be. I'm sure to give her advice as much as possible, as well as push her to become the person that she wishes to be, as well as the person that I know that she can be.
He looks at you, kind of narrows for a couple of seconds, and says, well, I don't know about complicated stuff myself, but, you know, when I, started getting to know Valencia, felt, pretty cool, I would say. Felt like, I don't know, like I think we were grounding each other, so to speak. Now suddenly she wasn't just like a noble or, a knight. She just kind of became Valencia to me. And I guess to her I wasn't just some commoner country bumpkin. I just became Gwynot. Maybe something like that happens. You will not just be Lieutenant Colonel AR something numbers. But you will just be, Atlas to her.
That is not my name.
Well, I thought that's how everybody's been calling you.
My name is AR296158. Everyone calls me Atlas because they cannot remember the string of numbers that is my name.
Right. I mean, well, I'm not even I'm sorry, but I think those numbers are a little bit beyond me to remember them. But
Atlas kind of says like, it's like sort of like cutting him short. Just kind of says like,
but I do see what you mean. Perhaps it is the reverse. Everyone else. They kind of like, stay silent for a bit, and then they do decide, fuck it at this point, like, I'm gonna confide in this guy as well. Like, just kind of says like, the reason why I look up to the Lady Knight is because she is the only one who is willing and capable of fully accepting who I am. Other people want me to discover myself and be free and live my life hedonistically, chasing pleasure, but the Lady Knight understands the concept of an oath and a code and a moral responsibility. She is the one who, I believe, once she has gotten enough experience and confidence, will be able to lead me to and put me to task for my regulations. And I do believe that perhaps she will be willing to accept my identity not as call sign Atlas or any other casual name, but as who I choose to be. AR296158.
I mean, if that is who you choose to be, then, well, I guess I can't really say anything about that, huh? And she's pretty good at leading people. She's been leading us, us three, for a while. And I guess if you want to keep things like that, then, be who you choose to be, and have her accept your code, your oath and stuff. That sounds pretty cool to me, I think. I think, well, I don't know. I guess because I guess I just not grasping some of the complicated stuff. But you know, if there's one thing I've learned, is that there's a lot more to life than just, you know, oaths and codes and honors. Like, hell, look at he kind of seems to speak up in a way that it sounds almost like he's blurting out his thoughts right away. He's like, hell, look at we're following the honor of the Dragon Riders, got her. Oh, shit, sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
Atlas's like head kind of like tilts in like a sort of like, you know, what do you mean by that kind of thing?
Looks over and says, I mean, you probably already heard the story, you know. She was framed, presumably by somebody who was in the order. Or at least that's what we think. I don't know.
Yes, but that seems to be the fault of an outside influence. Do you believe that it is her oath that caused the undoing to begin with? Is that your
Well, no,
opinion?
that's not at all what I'm referring to here. Shit, I guess I just didn't word it properly. I think she was being too strict on herself. And, well, she believes she has to be, maybe. And kind of does the same for everybody else around her. I don't know.
Atlas kind of like, again,
Oh,
sort
you
of
have
like
the-
gives like
the
that's
quick one.
But yeah, like just kind of like says again, just kind of like the thing of like, just kind of like looking like a bit quizzical this time, just kind of like, I don't know if Grenell will be able to tell, but like, you know, like Atlas is basically looking like confused as to the idea of like being too strict being like a bad thing. But Atlas just kind of like, you know, I think at this point Atlas just like nods. And
I think I kind of lost the plot here a little bit. Sorry. If you want to go ahead and talk with the two over there, you know, then feel free.
Atlas just kind of like, you know, nods and says,
I will take your words into consideration. I do not wish to outright reject your suggestion of pursuing friendship. Just that it is not something that it is fundamentally something that I am unfamiliar with.
Well, you're presumably gonna be sticking around for a while, so you'll have plenty of time to figure it out and be familiar with it. I'll stop embarrassing myself, and I'll just, you know, he kind of points down the hall and begins to walk. Almost bumps into Ace. Careful there. He moves over to the side. And
It's
disappears.
all right.
And
You know, I half expected you to go and start strangling. Looking over at Atlas.
Atlas kind of like says,
The interrogation has not begun yet. Do not hold your breath.
Okay. And as you open the door, if you do open the door, you see inside of this extra room that you guys have rented out from the inn. Well, two individuals, the same ones you left there before. Ruined Alphys and Armorer Dennis are sitting on opposite sides of the room. Their arms and bound by a series of ropes and and I believe somebody put manacles on one of them. You will see that they both are. Well, Alphys is looking for a very vacant expression, and Dennis is kind of just looking, staring at the ceiling. You see his mouth moving in a particular way. Maybe he's counting the cracks in the ceiling. He looks very bored out of his mind until you open the door. He looks back at you and says, I was hoping at least somebody else who's more fun would show up. And that is where we're gonna be ending today's session for the time being.
Yeah.
Whippy!
Good
God.
cop and bad cop.
It was,
Oh boy.
Very roleplay heavy session, but I hope you guys enjoyed it at least. I always get a little.
I certainly did.
I always get a little self-conscious, when it's like roleplay heavy, because I'm not sure if I'm like moving the story along or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
listen,
this is a good shit.
I also get self-conscious when I'm taking so much of the fucking spotlight.
You fine.
No, you all did a great job.
I mean, hey, also, I hope I did Gwenel justice during this interaction with Atlas. I look at you.
Oh, absolutely.
Again.
Gotta share this with Indy.
Okay. Well, I guess with that, I'm gonna, send us off here for the stream. For those of you who are still watching, well, thank you guys for following along. I hope you all also enjoyed today's session and had us as a bit of a podcast, I guess. Well, please continue following along with the adventure, I guess, if that is something that interests you. I don't know how long we're gonna be. I haven't really projected like how many sessions we're gonna be playing Dark Souls. Obviously, I'm just kind of letting the party go at their own pace. And so far, I myself am really enjoying all the roleplay and the interactions, party drama as well. So let's see how much we can keep that going for as long as we can. With that, once again, shout outs to Sound Phenomenon, shout outs to all the artists for the art that I've been using in the campaign, and of course, shout out to all of my wonderful players who are here, and even the one player who couldn't be here, shout outs to them as well. With that, we will see you all again to the next session of Dark Souls Dirge of Drangleic. Everybody say goodbye.
See you around.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.